every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in. Nice to have you aboard here on this Tuesday. So what are we today? Today is the
17th.
So a week from tomorrow.
That's it.
Christmas. This is Christmas.
What are you getting me?
Eve week.
What are you getting me?
What do you want?
Oh.
What do you want? I am here to try and find the perfect gift for you, but I need help because
a new driver.
How do you get
a new driver?
You want me to find a person to drive your car every day from where you go?
I'd love a car and driver.
because I know you won't use a golf club driver.
Hey, you don't ever know, Dave. I might be making my return.
Could this be the year?
No.
You know what? That's going to be one of my wishes for the new year. That Brett
better wish something else.
Picks back up golf and we go play Forest City Country Club.
I think I would like it. I don't think it would like me.
You got to go play if you do. We're going to we're going to do a little overnight in Forest City, not in your house though. What we'll do,
stay at my house.
We'll play one day. Get up in the morning. We'll go play Forest City Country Club, and then we'll go play the Ledges or the Ridges.
Uh-huh.
The Ridges.
27 holes
at Village Creek. Yeah, we'll play those the next day, but we'll spend the night at the cabin. They have cabins there.
Well, you can stay at my house, Dave. I got plenty of room, plenty of towels.
I want you to. I want this to feel like a trip for you.
And you know, I like everything in its right place.
Are you implying that I would ruin everything in its right place?
We've talked about our Oscar and Felix mentality.
Well,
before.
we do have that. I agree, but I'm a good guest.
What part of that is?
I'd even clean, all around the toilet bowl. If,
well, I'm glad you would. Thank you.
There's any bad aim or anything like that.
Would you dry down the shower after you showered with the towel?
Dry it down?
Yeah.
Well, then what do I do with the towel?
Hang it
up.
Do
I throw it into the dryer?
Hang it up nicely and let it dry, and then I'll wash it.
I could do that.
Okay. Do you dry your shower down after every shower?
No, not a chance.
Neither does my wife, who's a neatnik like you are. This is where you go.
Water dries by itself, right? Especially in the shower.
It's called evaporation. This is where you go too far. I guess you can't help yourself.
I can't. Go look at the floorboard of my car right now. You know what it looks like.
I know.
We could have had lunch off the floorboard of it.
Do you wash your car every day?
Not every day.
I mean, you couldn't do it the last 2 days.
No.
How come you never have, seriously? Like, I got leaves. I mean, I've got this new car. I've never even sat in the driver's seat. Maybe a couple people have, but there's like a leaf down there I saw the other day.
It's still there?
No, I took that out.
Okay. How long did it stay there?
Day or two.
Oh, Dave. Oh,
See, that
no.
would drive you crazy.
No.
That would drive you crazy.
I wash the windshield with glass cleaner every 2 or 3 days.
The inside of the windshield?
And outside.
With glasses kind of cleaner?
Yes.
For your eyeglasses?
With glass cleaner, you get it.
Oh, you like Windex.
You can get it AutoZone.
You do that every third day?
2 or 3 days. I got to be able to see.
I got to ask you this question.
I drive a lot.
I really been meaning to do that. I know you do. How much time on a weekly basis do you spend cleaning?
I'm cleaning all the time. There's never a clean day. There's never, all right, let's dedicate to cleaning today. There's never that day because it's constant. It's perpetual motion.
Give me a number. There's only so many hours in a
Drying
week.
the shower down count?
Yes.
Okay.
Drying the shower. You may be the only. I want to know on the text line.
What percentile am I in?
Tell me who else besides my man Stats dries their bathtub after every shower.
And
Nobody else. You are the 0.00001%.
So you think there's a larger percentage that didn't vote for Joe Burrow in any 3 ballots at 4.5?
I think there is. Yes.
Those goofballs.
I do.
I'd love to.
I do want to hear 67129 if there's anybody that does that. I had a ball last night. I went with an old friend, and one of the first times I ever saw a basketball game with this friend. We went to go see Elliot Perry. We went to see him play at Treadwell High School his senior year.
Wow.
And,
Double yo.
And guess what we both said at the same time?
Just saw a legend in the making.
Who's that freshman? That number 25 so skinny.
Poor EP. Even when he was at his
That's the truth.
parade All-American.
That is true.
He had,
So many people went to see him, and they all went in the because Penny didn't start. I don't think he did. I think he came off the
six
bench.
man?
Something like that.
Well, if he wasn't, I want to see who the six man was.
He was there for the big moments, but we were all going, "Who is this kid?
Is that right?
Anthony?" He didn't have Penny's nickname yet. It was Anthony. Anthony? Is that what you say? Is that his name? Yeah.
We learned his name.
So last night we go, and speaking of young kids, this young crew, are they ever fun to watch?
It is.
Brandon Clark was making John Morant moves. He's getting better. Ja is just so much fun to watch. If Ja ever gets a consistent outside shot, and I'm not saying he has to be Steph Curry, but he's got to be 42, 43%.
First number 4.
He's just going to own the NBA. He's so much fun to watch.
He's a ticket seller.
He's a ticket seller. And, Dylan Brooks has his nights. Obviously, there's a nice little rhythm now that Triple J is getting into. Mm-hmm. I forgot how funky his release is. It is not a classic.
From down low.
It's not a classic 3-point outside shot, but it has become much more effective.
It's not Rick Barry granny shot.
I want to say
it's from down low.
Last night they were 11 of their first 13 or 14 threes, and then they hit only 2 threes in the second half. And I'm sitting next to my buddy.
Made 5.
They were I think they were like 8 of their first 10, maybe even 9 of their first 10. And I said, well, this can't keep up. And he goes, I know, but this could be a night they get 23s and then 2 threes in the second half. That was all they got. But that was all they needed. They played some really good defense. Miami upped their defense. I'm going to tell you a guy that won't be around at the end of the year that I really enjoy watching play. And he'll help some contender if they give him a chance, and that's Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder will help Miami.
Jay Crowder, you know what he did last night? He stopped Jimmy Butler. He got Jimmy Butler so frustrated. Even Jimmy Butler got a call he never should have gotten. They gave him an and one when it should have been a foul on the floor, and he made it a 3-point play. But he just was taken out of his game, and mainly by Jay Crowder. I give him a lot of credit. Now, Melton, D'Anthony Melton, he's an interesting guy. They list him at 6'3". I'm not sure he's really that tall. His wingspan is like a guy who's 6'8". I mean, he's got long arms. He made 3 turnovers down the stretch, and I thought was going to give the game away, but he didn't. And then he made a really big, huge rebound, and he plays defense, and that's why he was on the floor for his defensive prowess. But those are all young guys except for Jay Crowder.
It's got to be the right deal, and I think the Grizzlies will get a better deal the closer they get to deadline because that's the more people are in panic mode to get it right for that push for the go-for-it teams. But you throw Jay Crowder in on any of these teams that are dreaming of going for it in the East, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, Miami, Toronto. He's the Swiss Army knife guy that helps all of them. Lakers, Clippers, Rockets. They're going for it, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
And they'll need somebody to play some defense.
Yeah.
They don't play a lot.
I don't know if it
Denver
counts.
going
I don't
for
even know if it counts in Houston. Denver should be going for it. I had them as the team going a long, long way.
The Mavs aren't going for it, but they're good.
They're really
I don't
good.
think they would do. I don't think they would do anything panic and oversell.
You remember how we used
or
to say
overbuy.
you had to have two superstars on your team to really be it, and then it became a trio, the big three. They got two.
Well, they have
Between
two.
Doncic and Porzingis, they got two.
And broke the Bucks' winning streak last night without Doncic, just with Kristaps.
That's a team that will be they were down for a couple of years, but they're coming back quick.
10-17 Grizzlies. We're not selling a pig in the poke saying, go watch them, fun team to watch. We're not pumping sunshine.
Well,
I think it's legitimate.
After last night, they were only 2 games out
Yeah.
from making the playoffs. That's a dilemma. Do you want them to win?
But we're not going homer flying the Grizzlies flag. I mean, I think it's a fun 10-17 team to go watch
Well,
play.
they're still 10-17.
That's right.
The point here is I don't know what Taylor Jenkins and what management is really thinking if they're trying to be bad to get one more really good draft pick, to get one more really nice piece to all blend together.
In the all-important loss column, they are closer to the 7 seed than they are to the 14 seed.
All I know is
Now, that can change in a week.
playoffs,
But the schedule gets
2
a little
games
easier.
away. 2 games away from making the playoffs. I don't know if it does because they play a lot of the next few games on the road.
But against more beatable teams. We'll do more Grizzlies at 350 and take a look at that upcoming schedule because they've gotten some tough stuff behind them. But
They just beat the number 2 team in the East last night.
Sure did.
That's the number 2 team. And that team,
opening night loss.
you want to talk about athleticism. That team.
You love my man Tyler Hero, don't you?
Well, you know what? If you look at their numbers, check them out, and tell me if I'm wrong, but their starting point guard, Nunn, he's a rookie. He's probably the best rookie on that team. Although I will say, your guy Hero is really athletic. Silva is really athletic. Jones is really athletic. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is really
and that
athletic.
loss dropped them from 2 to 4.
Adebayo is really athletic.
Isn't he something?
That is a fun team to watch too. That was a heck of a game because the Grizzlies played a really good team that's really athletic and will be for a long time because most of those guys are pretty young.
I'm
To me was a really good W. They played unbelievable offense in the first half and really good defense in the second.
and I'm going to use we more civically than anything else. We have hope in the Grizzlies.
Absolutely.
And
I'm just telling you.
even when I get mad at them and say I need to be maybe tougher on them, a little more scrutiny on them, I'm not in the honeymoon period. I was most of the aughts, 01 through kind of up to the first playoff run, and then that kept it going, of just so darn proud we finally had a major league team in town. I'm past that, but I still, more than anything else, I want the Grizzlies to work for Memphis and for the community as much as anything else. I almost look at them a little bit, sometimes not as tough enough on the day in, day out, nitpicking front of following them. I more times than not, I err on the side of I look at them as a big piece of the community. Like, now I don't want to be too hyperbolic here, but I mean the Grizzlies have to make it like the time that Dick Hackett saved St. Jude movement. I mean, we had to keep St. Jude. The National Civil Rights Museum, Sun Studios.
No question. The perception of Memphis
Southern Heritage Classics got to work. It's got to make it.
The perception
Autos on Liberty Bowl
of Memphis being a major league city comes down to this because it's the only major league franchise. And I think it is for the growth of the city to be an amenity. I talk about public golf all the time and why I think that's so important. And I think we really have 3 or 4 very good public by the city golf courses. That's an amenity. Brooks Art is an amenity. The Botanic Gardens are an amenity. Those are what make things important in cities, and I think the Grizzlies are that.
And then
they attract
mainstays.
They attract a younger, more affluent
that'll be buying season tickets
citizen
way past.
But
Brett
you
Day.
want to attract those kind of citizens to your town. Let me tell you one other thing that I think Taylor Jenkins has done a marvelous thing with, and that is guys like Jay Crowder, Solomon Hill, and Valanciunas for that matter. But the more veteran, older guys on the team, they accept these younger guys and they welcome them in, and there seems to be a lot of unity on this team, especially for one that's now 10-17.
You know, when I was mentioning civic, cornerstones, of course, FedEx, and in my opinion, first and foremost, is the school, the University of Memphis. You think how many people that employs, how many people that has bettered their lives. Never mind when we get to Tigers basketball, football, and women's basketball and baseball and all the fun stuff that we really primarily focus on. After FedEx, the University of Memphis, as an employer, as a mainstay of town, might be the most important.
Well, they
go hand in glove.
It's to educate us and also to supply a workforce.
Sure.
So
a more educated workforce.
It is incredibly important. There is no question
I guarantee you,
that.
If you go to the doctor, about every person you see along the medical field's done something through the University of Memphis. Some classes, some continuing ed, nursing, something. I mean, it is touched. When you go through the whole process, you're going to get touched somehow by the University of Memphis.
The critical thing about the University of Memphis is, since secondary education became important in this country, this university has been here and it's never going anywhere. It is the University of Memphis.
Mainstay.
On the other side, this is our first taste, and it's not been here relatively very long. And it is the one major league entity, and it is important that it thrive. There is no doubt. And, that is, I know we keep hearing, I don't think they can leave for a long time because I think it may be too penal. The only thing that makes me ever worry about that is, where's the owner? Do we ever hear? What does he really want? What is he thinking?
That's a concern.
That's it.
Dave, somewhere last week, and I wish somebody would help me on this, we got to keep rolling. I swear last week in doing stuff for the Heisman that Billy Cannon went to dental school in Memphis. Can anybody out there confirm that? Well, in his bio it says he went to University of Tennessee Dental School. We're the only one, isn't it? There's not one in Knoxville, is it?
The only doctor I know that was a major sport guy.
Well, Gil Morgan.
Dr. Gil Morgan from the Southern Optometry School.
But would it be a dental school at UT Knoxville?
Oh, wait. You know who went to dental school here? For sure? You know him.
Kerry Middlecoff.
Yeah.
Undergrad at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But I
don't know about Billy Cannon.
This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and happy 2020 from everyone at Lexus of Memphis to you. And Lexus Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event, the December to Remember. Great offers on all 2019 models, 2020s, and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Lexus of Memphis, the high standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design at 2600 Ridgeway. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Oh, this one's a good one. Kenny Gainwell is second team All-American according to the Sporting News, and we're going to have Brent Beard from the Sporting News, who writes college football. Bill Bender.
That's on Thursday.
You're right. What am I thinking? Jump the gun. We'll talk to him about it on Thursday. But Kenny Gainwell, second team All-Conference, and the news today, and we'll be talking about this with Gabe Kuhn in a minute. Kevin Clune has been named the interim defensive coordinator for the Cotton Bowl. He has been a DC at Oregon State for a couple of years, 16-17. Also a defensive coordinator, a lot of places. Utah State, Hawaii, Weber State, and Southern Utah. So he's experienced at leading defenses.
My top story, Grizzlies win again, win number 10 On the year, 118, 111 over Miami. Double-double from Ja, 20 and 10. First loss of the year for Miami to a sub-500 team. Jaren Jackson with 5 3-pointers. Valanciunas with 21. And the conundrum for the Grizzlies. Stick to the plan or semi-go for it. Here's the problem. You don't semi-do anything. You either go for it or you don't. Stick to the plan. Don't worry about the playoffs this year. The next time I want to see the Grizzlies in the playoffs, I want it to be able to be a go for it, make noise playoff year. They can't make any noise this year.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I mean, if they really mesh with these young guys and give them minutes, and they're giving them a lot of minutes. You know, they weren't playing John in Triple J a lot together.
So you think
they
real
weren't
conundrum, debate inside Grizzlies Inc.?
I don't know if there is, because I'm not sure that they're ready to really try and go for it. I would think that, though, that if they play like they did last night, and on both sides of the ball with that kind of effort, with these new combinations that Taylor Jenkins admitted they hadn't played before, who knows? They may be a piece away. I don't think they're going to go for that for sure.
No.
I still think, that they think it's in their better interest on the not make the playoff side of things.
Not top story of the day.
Well, I told you Kevin Clune is in. You know what that means. Adam Fuller is out. And I really enjoyed visiting with Adam Fuller. I am going to miss Adam Fuller. This is the hard thing about college football, because coaches come and coaches go. But again, this is the dreadful thing about this sport we love at the moment. When a guy who did so darn much for your football team and turn that defense around, and they win 12 games and lose only one, and they're division champs and league champs, and he can't coach in the bowl because he's got to go to another school, there's something wrong with the way it's set up.
And, Dave, I encountered my first Tigers, super loyal fan. Been to a lot of really rough afternoons at the Liberty Bowl Stadium, that told me he was not going to Dallas. Just a little bit of the momentum tamped down after the Norvell effect. He said he's early on Saturday, had to kind of wedge it in a little bit. I encountered my first one today, and that's human nature. For me, not top story today, a great year for a pair of number 9s down in Louisiana. Joe Burrow, number 9, off of his Heisman landslide over the weekend. And then last night, Drew Brees, number 9, goes almost perfect on Monday Night Football. 29 of 30, 22 straight completions. Drew Brees turns 41 next month. Last night, he broke Peyton Manning's record of career touchdown passes. Tom Brady will pass Peyton next week, very likely. And Drew Brees will walk first ballot unanimously, overwhelmingly, into the Hall of Fame, and that's with just one Super Bowl. He could add another one this year.
You could make a case for him, like we have with Brady and we had with Manning, and Drew Brees is not done yet. Sure looks like Brady may be when this year is over. Peyton, we know, is. I'm not sure Drew Brees is. Drew Brees has a chance to be the GOAT. This is a good era.
Over Brady?
It's not over yet. He's got 6 titles. That's hard to ever beat.
And one team.
You were right. Billy Cannon did go to the dental school at UT Health Sciences in Memphis. So that was on the money.
And I'm also right about this. Texture says, don't dare let Dave stay.
I saw that.
He'll trash it unmercifully.
I would trash her.
He didn't say
My
that.
friend, he did. He goes, don't let Wolo stay at your house, Stats. He will trash your house. My goodness, I just
you get
can't.
That
I'm so sorry that guy has that perception.
You stay out of that cabin.
There is no. Come to my house. My house is clean. Of course, my wife does it, but my house is clean as a whistle.
I know you don't do anything.
I sure do some things. Pool's mine.
Do you hang anything up, or is it over back of a chair?
You don't hang stuff up. Absolutely. I make the bed every morning.
Do you really?
I do.
I do too. I make mine 2 seconds after I'm out of it.
Every morning, because she goes.
But the darn fitted sheet is getting harder and harder to fight. Woo, man, when I change the bed. Man, that fitted sheet's getting to be a battle for one person.
You change your sheets every morning?
About every 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
I never understood making the bed every day. You're just going to mess it back up. Like, what's the point? How many people are you letting in your bedroom? How many people do you have to show off for
During the
every day?
break, I'm going to give you a good analogy about that.
Yeah, well, I've heard these stories. It's discipline. It's something that you must do every day.
I wasn't in the military. I don't need that.
There's a sense of accomplishment, too. It's part of what you do every day.
It's a regimen.
Yeah.
Drew.
I mean, come on, Drew.
Come on,
My
Drew.
goodness.
Come on now.
My goodness. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. We are having a good – here's our lineup, by the way. I didn't give it to you yet. Gabe Kuhn, Brent Beard, Jeff Moore, Bo Marchant. He sent us some pretzels. Now I see why he runs. He takes those. It's like fuel. Those things are so hot. Steve Earhart on the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and then crunch time coming your way about 5:50 when we say sayonara. We will take the break. Back in just a minute. Gabe will join us. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
Get to Holly Chevrolet in Marion because Chevrolet has announced employee pricing discount for everyone. You pay what we pay, not a cent more. Right now, save over $11,000 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab 4-wheel drive custom trail boss. Or save over $9,000 off MSRP on a 2020 Chevy Equinox LT front-wheel drive. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no Badgers. And never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at Exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis, and online at hollychevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab 4-wheel drive custom trail boss, stock number N3564. 2020 Chevy Equinox LT front-wheel drive, stock number N4017. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify and finance with GM Financial have a 2005 or newer GM product. Prices don't include tax, tag, title, registration. Take delivery by 12/31/19. See dealer for details.
Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday from 10 to 1 at Classic Arms, 1740 Germantown Road behind Corky's. 'Tis the season at Classic Arms with all kinds of holiday specials. Pay no sales tax on all firearms. Buy, sell, trade, Classic Arms does it all. Plus, we'll be giving away Tigers basketball tickets and AutoZone Liberty Bowl tickets. We also have Garibaldi's Pizza, so we've got your lunch taken care of. That's this Friday at Classic Arms on Germantown Road behind Corky's. Come see us.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Nationally ranked Navy and Kansas State will meet for the first time ever at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there as well. Plus, American Idol winner, country music star Scotty McCreery will perform at halftime. It's all happening December 31st at 2:45 in the afternoon. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in on this wintry Tuesday. We talked a little bit about Now We Know. Adam Fuller out. Kevin Clune in. He's been around a lot of different places. It is time to talk some Tigers. It's brought to you by ATC Fitness, Tactical Investments, Wolf Chase Nissan, Wolf Chase Honda, Stereo One, and Pop's Comfort Kitchen. And they are the sponsors for this segment with our own Gabe Kuhn, former Tiger, and now with us here at Sports 56. And you and I both were hoping, and we got our wish. Ryan Silverfield is the man. Give me your thoughts now that it's done.
Correct decision. I think it, adds to the continuity. That's everybody's favorite word right now is continuity. But I think he's a good offensive coach. I think it keeps the same sort of ideals and culture that you had instilled. As far as, him not calling plays, well, that's yet to be seen. But I think the guys will rally around him, especially for this bowl game and moving forward. And then the recruiting speaks for itself. He's done a really good job keeping those commits. Mm-hmm. And I think overall, I believe it's the right decision for now and for long term for the program.
Gabe, I do too. And I know you were very much for it. I don't know how it will end at the end of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I hope it's 20. I hope he becomes the Coach Murphy of the 21st century for this program. Mm-hmm. But
absolutely.
I think for right now, today, it was the correct thing to do.
And people talk about, he hasn't called plays and there's risk involved. There's risk involved with every coaching hire ever. Offensive coordinators, O-line coaches. But, people didn't know who Mike Norvell was before he got here.
Absolutely.
People didn't really know who Justin Fuente was before he got here. This is a guy you're familiar with finally. And it just seems like, given who could have been out there, the Barry Odoms of the world, people were talking about Hugh Freezes of the world. I feel like
Dan Lanning, he was in that mix.
And I feel like, given what has been successful here in the past as far as offensive coaches go, this is one of the least risky moves that you could have made, right? That's what it seems like to me.
It's the known versus what potentially could be the spirit of unintended consequences.
Well, and it's the guy, and it looks like he's going to keep Kevin Johns too, that were part of the big three that ran the offense this past year. Now, obviously, the brainchild of it all is Mike. You listen to Kevin Johns talk about it, and I think we've had this discussion how he says the great thing about Mike is he's got this vast library, and each game he comes in and he goes, you know what, we're playing Cincy this week. I think Book 2, Volume 3 here,
exactly.
That's going to work in this game, and he takes it out and
it works.
Figures out, and it works. So I don't know if they'll have that, but they know a lot of his library, and they're going to have to figure out the same matchups.
But absolutely, I think they will, but there's always a learning progression that goes on with this. Mike Norvell didn't come in here year one and, completely impressed. He was 8-6. And Riley Ferguson had his growing pains. But I think
Mike made mistakes, and Mike learned. I'll never forget the post-game show after that Navy game at Navy last year, where I said, I don't know how I broached it, but he basically said, I sure wish I had that second down call that he went passing when it was 2nd down and 4, and he had Darrell Henderson he could hand it to.
Certainly.
And you don't think he wishes he could change it?
Oh, God.
Sure he wishes he could. That's what he said to us. So what I'm saying to you is, I think he learned, and I think this year, I know onside kick to start a championship game wouldn't lead you to believe it, but I do think at the ends of games he became a more conservative guy, where he would have tried to go, I know I got this matchup and I'm going to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. And instead, he went, no, I'm going to run clock, and I'm going to hand it off because I got Kenny Gainwell or Henderson or Pollard or Patrick Taylor or now Gibson. I have the weapons, and I can do that, and it'll run clock.
But again, being a head coach, you're going to have to live and learn. There's going to be problems. There's going to be mistakes he makes. Okay, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You saw again, Norvell, Fuente. Fuente didn't come in here again. He had to change the culture. This one, the culture doesn't need to be changed. It should stay generally the same. So if he comes in and won like 4 games, that would be a problem. But at the same time, if he's winning games and he's learning week in, week out, getting that offense to click how it has been, it's a win, and I think it's the right decision.
Gabe, you mentioned that culture, and you talking about Justin Fuente. He had to turn around the Titanic, and he did. And we remember opening night against UT Martin, but from then on, it got better and better and better, and led to this.
Yeah, who would have believed that after losing that game?
No kidding. The Tigers have now established. I know the Cardinals get a lot of knocks about this. It goes back to Hub Kissel and the Cardinal way, but the Tigers have established now in football a Tiger way.
Yeah, they have. Playing good special teams, doing all the little things correct, offensive football, and then on defense being at least timely, right? This year was way different. They played defense at a way higher level than they had the previous 4 years. But at the same time, they still had to have timely. They weren't the best defense in the country by any stretch of the imagination. They had their times against, Louisiana Monroe where they gave up a decent amount of points to a team where maybe they shouldn't have.
I'll tell you where they were good. And this, I give Adam Fuller a lot of credit. They were really good after change of possession. If there was a turnover, go look to see how many points teams got off turnovers.
That's a Temple game. I'd point straight to the Temple game for that. I mean, the amount of 3 turnovers in the first half only turned into 16 points.
Could have got the doors blown off.
Absolutely.
And on the sideline, the coaches are screaming, quick change, back out there. And sometimes it's easy to go back out there. We just stopped them once. You've turned it right back over.
And when they had to at the end of games, they finished games off. That was where they were really good. So tell me this. Strength of Ryan Silverfield, and we should let everybody know, Gabe played for Ryan.
I did.
And where you think he's really going to have a struggle as a head coach?
I think defensively is going to be the first question. Who can he bring in to run that defense at the same level, if not better, than Adam Fuller? That's the first question, and that's the biggest question to me. Offensively, his biggest strength, and I think you've seen it since Norvell took over, the run game. The run game is something he had his hands all over from day one that he stepped on the University of Memphis campus. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Obviously, the first year there was a learning curve, but I'm telling you, that run game is different than anybody else's in the country with how many different schemes there are, how much they differentiate week to week, how they know how to attack that defense. The run game will continue to be a big part of what he wants to do.
The 2-back set at the end of the year, like the last 5 games, they really employed it, making Gibson really a big star in this offense.
Huge.
Who was that? Was that Mike or is that Ryan or is that a combination?
That's a combination of both. Because, I mean, the scheme as far as, running a zone versus a gap out of that is Ryan Silverfield. The formation may have been a lot of Norvell's doing. He may have had his hands all over that. But the scheme in itself stays the same no matter who you're putting back, how you're putting that formation together. Does that make sense? It's like if they're going to lead, because what they did a lot of the time out of that particular set is they'd run it with Gibson and have a lead blocker out front, whether it was Gainwell or Patrick Taylor. And
or they could run the other guy out of it too, or you could take Gibson and move him into a slot. I mean, there's so many different things you could do with it.
But if they were going to keep those guys in the backfield, that scheme is a lead blocker up there, and it's an outside zone. I can tell you, we could get into detail about it, but that part of it is Silverfield as far as the run schemes out of that.
You just went Lombardi. Get a lane here and a lane here and bust it up in there.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, the run game is his cup of tea. He knows it. He knows everything there is to know.
All right, let's talk passing game. Gabe Kuhn, I've got in front of me at ESPN.com the top 20 quarterbacks in college football this year with the season mostly over. Number 1's Anthony Gordon at Washington State, and he throws it so many more times than everybody else.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a lot more completion.
And he was no Gardner Minshew either.
And he had 45 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. 2's Joe Burrow.
I don't know how Mike Leach does it, though. I really don't.
And you got to get a defense.
Yeah.
Tell me where you think in that top 20 Brady White landed.
Ooh, this is tough. It can't be. Is it past 10?
It is not.
7.
9.
Mm.
Brady White 9, sandwiched in between Shane Buechele at 8 and Sam Ellinger.
But he can't throw the ball. What are you guys talking about?
33.
That was not us saying that, Gabe. I don't know where you got that one from.
Oh, gosh, that was all over the place. And I had my things to say, before this season about how he had played. But, golly, he came along every week and stayed consistent with his work. I mean, just truthfully. And it showed. And I think for Silverfield, and it's going to absolutely help to have a guy like that who knows that offense probably as good, if not better, than anyone in that building, right? And he's been doing it for 3 years.
Seriously, I don't think he would care that I share this, but Kevin Johns, in one of our meetings early in the year, I asked him about Brady, and he goes, well, Brady's really of help to me. He knows this offense better than I do.
Absolutely.
Because remember, he learned it at Arizona State.
Yeah.
So he knows it almost as long as Mike Norvell, author.
And Johns was working under Cliff Kingsbury at Texas Tech. He knows a lot about a pass game. I'll tell you that much. So I think, year one for Ryan Silverfield is going to be very, very comfortable having a quarterback that he can trust.
We know Fuller is out. We know that Kevin Clune is titled interim defensive coordinator. So we don't know that he's back in that role next year.
No.
Do we know Kevin Johns is going to be the OC? I suspect it.
I think so.
But I'm not 100% on.
I think so. And, I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm not 100% by any stretch, but I've seen, his Twitter out there. Can't wait to work under Ryan Silverfield. Can't wait to see where we can go with this program. And not to mention an OC job at Memphis compared to a quarterback's coach elsewhere, or whether he went to Florida State, or that's a lot more appealing. I mean, to have your hands be the main play caller, that's going to be more appealing for Kevin.
Well, I would think so. And I'm happy for Kenny Dillingham, who's making $1 million. I mean, you think about it. Kenny Dillingham, 3.5 years ago, was a GA making 20, and now he's making $1 million.
A GA, and also, not to mention the offensive minds he's gotten to work with.
Oh yeah,
Mike Norvell, Gus Malzahn. I
right.
mean, he is getting
the players he's produced.
But bottom line is, he's never called a game.
Never has. Nope. But he's at Florida State, and he won't have to call a game.
And he's making $1 million a year.
Exactly.
How old is he? 30?
Yeah.
Is he 30 yet?
That's a great question, because I mean, he was a GA. He was like 27.
Nice future.
My first year,
and the cash ain't going down.
But golly, he's a smart. Whether he's a young coach or not, he's very bright.
All right, we're not going to pin you down on a pick, but we're not going to get to visit again until after the game's played. Which way are you leaning on outcome of the Cotton Bowl?
So, I think this for the Tigers, when you look at this matchup compared to some of the teams they could have gone against, this is actually a better matchup than I thought.
Wow,
Florida and Alabama
our
were the other
lunchtime
two ones
discussion
we were talking
respectfully disagree.
I'm here's my take on that.
That Penn State front.
My take on
but the back end, I'm telling you, they can be exposed. Indiana, Peyton Ramsey,
You
their
better
quarterback.
block them up front then.
Absolutely, 100%. I think Yetur Gross-Matos, who's leaving for the NFL after the year, and then there's a guy named Shaka Toney, all name team of the
really
Big Ten. I mean, good Lord. But they are incredible off the edge. Those DNs are some of the best you'll see in the country.
Keep somebody in to chip them.
Absolutely, and I think they'll do that. But at the back end, I'm telling you, on the back end of this whole thing, I think Memphis's athletes are better. I really do.
Whoa, I don't know. I know that they're so big and they're so strong. And we had this discussion. I didn't even take Florida into account. I was thinking of Alabama because the initial reports are, you got a good chance you're going to play Alabama. I'm going, oh, man, I don't want to play that team. Then I started looking at it. That team's defense was not very good. I think Memphis would be able to move the ball and score on Alabama. Now, Alabama's offense would probably take us apart, so it would be a high-scoring game, but I think they'd be in there. I don't think Penn State's offense is as good as Alabama's.
Not even close.
But their defense is better. This is a defense that only gave up 14 points a game. The two losses they had, which are Ohio State and Minnesota, those are really close games now, and nobody scored a lot of points.
Absolutely, and I think Indiana was a decent team in the Big Ten, but what Peyton Ramsey, their quarterback, was able to do to that Penn State defensive backfield was criminal in some cases. I mean, he threw for 350 yards. I think Brady White can do some of the same, and I think Penn State's offense, while it could have some fireworks, is not even close. This ain't Trace McSorley and Saquon Barkley and Miles Sanders back there. This is Sean Clifford and Journey Brown. They're not that good. Journey Brown ran for 600 yards.
So are you declaring a W?
A heavy lean.
I'm not declaring a W, but I think a cover.
Wow.
I think a cover.
Heavy lean.
At the very least. And I think they could get a W.
A cover
easily.
at what line?
What's it, 10.5?
No,
it's not that big. 6.5.
6.5.
6.5? I could see a cover.
Well, if you're going to say
And
cover,
a win.
if you're going to say
And a
cover
win.
at
Let's go for it.
6.5,
Let's go
come
for it.
on.
Go Tigers.
My
man.
goodness.
Of course, this has been Talking Tigers, brought to you by ATC Fitness, Tactical Investments, Wolf Chase Nissan, Wolf Chase Honda, Stereo One, and Pop's Comfort Kitchen.
He is Gabe Kuhn. God, I had to push him there.
Sure did.
I had really. That was a little like one of his blocks. I just had to pancake him to get him to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabe.
Back in a
Not
minute.
a problem pancaking
This
me, huh?
is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do?
what are my options?
What did I do wrong?
We've had those thoughts too.
But some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor.
Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
Santa needs a new set of wheels, and he's going to Sunrise Chevy Buick GMC. Sunrise has hundreds of new and used cars and trucks. This time of the year, Santa's a little strapped for cash, but Sunrise has financing with no money down on approved credit and huge rebates for everyone. Sunrise has financing for everyone and specializes in secondary credit. That's good, because feeding all those L's, Santa's credit's not so hot. A $4 million used car inventory. Find new roads. SunriseMemphis.com. 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
It's a winter wonderland at Envy Nail Bar, and if you're looking to host a party during the holidays, I know just the perfect spot for you. Envy Nail Bar has the most beautiful private room that awaits you. Feel pampered and spoiled with their complimentary full premium adult beverage bar. Sit back and get a full body massage with your Petty Mani. I'm loving it. And don't forget your holiday gift cards. Everyone would love their Petty Mani. When you buy a gift card, you get a bonus gift card. Call Salon for details. Envy Nail Bar, corner of Poplar and Perkins.
The ARS Rescue Rooter National Hoop Fest, presented by Conway Services Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, is coming. It's 3 days of great high school basketball to kick off the new year right here in Hoop City, January 2nd through the 4th. The action starts with a doubleheader Thursday the 2nd at Christian Brothers High School. Friday the 3rd brings 3 games at East High School and 2 more at Olive Branch High School. And then Saturday features great basketball throughout the day with 6 games at Briarcrest Christian School starting at 12:30 in the afternoon. It's your chance to see top teams from around the country do battle with the best of Memphis and see some of the nation's top recruits, including 19 top 50 recruits. It's the ARS Rescue Rooter National Hoop Fest, presented by Conway Services Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, January 2nd through the 4th. 3 days of great high school basketball. See the full schedule and get tickets at nationalhoopfest.com.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios. Okay, we're getting closer. I mentioned a week from tomorrow. It's Christmas. Santa comes a week from tonight. Man, I can tell you where you'll find Santa. I don't know if he's exactly there, but his spirit is. It's at Family Leisure, where they've got the buy one, get one half off Christmas
I
sale
saw him
going
at
on
the
right
Toys
now.
for Tots fundraiser last week there.
I actually did see a Santa there. And he was a good-looking Santa.
Well, they all are.
And they were taking all those toys out. But here's where you can get your toys. When I'm talking toys, I'm saying, hey, maybe you want to get a pool table for as low as $14.99. You can get an arcade that is as low as $9.99, half off. You buy one for your someone special. Maybe you get something for yourself, half off. It is a cool deal. We're talking massage chairs, I mentioned, at $700, really below that. And then there's hot tubs as low as $1,400. What a deal. What a way to go. It is perfect to get there right now. Just get to basically I-40 and Wooden Road. Go about a half a mile north. Look to your right. There you'll find the good folks at Family Leisure.
Pure speculation. What do you think the level of go for it, conundrum, where we are, meetings are being held right now at FedEx Forum in the inner sanctum of Grizzlies management?
And I mean this honestly. Tell me, as they started this thing off with this core group and they saw the three, because they knew what they were getting with Clark, and he's just getting better and better. What do you think their initial win total was, and how much did they really want to win? Because
pure speculation.
Yeah,
something in the 20s.
Right.
Pure speculation. I don't know that. That's just my guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying they didn't expect this conundrum, because I'm not sure they thought that these guys would play together as well as they have.
Here's the schedule to round out calendar year 2019. Mm-hmm. At Oklahoma City tomorrow night.
Which is a disappointing team.
At Cleveland on Friday night. There's talk of a beeline watch in Cleveland.
I know. Those are two winnable games.
A week from Saturday. This Saturday, after the Tigers play Jackson State.
Sacramento at home.
Sacramento, and then San Antonio next Monday night on Christmas Eve.
That's at home.
It's at home.
They can go 500 there.
I agree. At Oklahoma City on the 26th, at Denver on the 28th.
They could go 500.
Probably won't.
That could be 0-2, but they've been a good road team.
They're
a better road team than they are a home team.
Sunday night, not matinee. Sunday night, 7 o'clock, the 29th against Charlotte.
They should win that game.
Probably should, yeah. That wraps up calendar year 2019.
So by my 500 plus one there, you're talking about, what is that, 15 wins? 15 wins by January?
14 or so, yeah. They're at 10 now. They go 4-3. That's 14. If there's one.
Let's see. Here's where your conundrum comes in. Let's see if that's true. If they've got 15 wins by the new year, where do they stand in the standings in the West?
All right, and then to start the new calendar year, pretty tough West Coast roadie at Sacramento, at Clippers, at Phoenix. Phoenix gets back DeAndre Ayton tonight. They'll be a transformed
good.
team.
They're good without him.
Get swept on that.
They could.
Then basically the rest of January at home stretch for the Grizzlies. All of these games at home in a row: Minnesota, San Antonio, Golden State, Houston, Cleveland, New Orleans. 6 straight at home.
Definitely can win 2 of those.
All right, at least go 3-3.
If they do, now you're talking. You got 18 wins.
You never add, right? That's never in the math to add a player.
I don't think they want to make the playoffs this year, so they're not going to add. And I think if they do get rid of Jay Crowder and they throw him in somehow in an Iguodala move or an Iguodala-Crowder, Josh Jackson move, whatever moves they're going to make, how many teams get involved, whatever that ends up being, they're not going to try to improve this year. I don't think they want to improve this year. I think they want one more piece, and they hope to get more picks out of Iguodala. I don't think they're going to get a first-round choice unless it's some real mix and match with other teams.
Somebody get really desperate.
Mm-hmm. And I think...
Isn't Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill kind of the same guy?
Jay Crowder's much better than Solomon Hill. Much better.
Brings you more?
He brings a lot more. First of all, the defense that Jay Crowder played on on Jimmy Butler last night, outstanding. Jay Crowder can go to the hole. Jay Crowder can shoot threes. Jay Crowder gets big rebounds. Jay Crowder has no fear. Solomon Hill's not. I don't think he's nearly as important a piece as Crowder.
And Josh Jackson,
I don't know what's going on.
Sits
there.
with the hustle.
I don't know. Somebody mentioned to me the other night, maybe this is not unfair treatment by the Grizzlies because when they made the deal with his agent, they basically said, we just want him to rehab himself in South Haven. We really do not. That's the deal. He's got South Haven. I mean, maybe way down the road if we got injuries, we'll put him in. We'll bring him up. But he's not coming on our team. But if they didn't do that, then it seems to me they're doing a disservice to him. We got to take a break. Coming up, we've got Brent Beard down in Jacksonville. What's the first week of the Norvell era been like? He'll let us know about that and a whole lot more. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do?
What are my options?
What did I do wrong?
We've had those thoughts too.
But some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor.
Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
James Gaddis Jewelers is ready to help you with your holiday shopping through December 21st. Men's wedding bands 20% off, Bulova and Seiko watches 20% off, designer jewelry, Andrea Candela, sterling silver and 18-karat gold 20% off, solid yellow gold or white gold earrings 20% off. James Gaddis Jewelers, known for having one of the best selections of fine quality diamonds and bridal rings in the Mid-South. Make your holiday shopping exciting and fun at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar. James and Linda Gaddis wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in on Witchery Tuesday. It was actually snowing when I got up. When I walked out and got my newspaper, my wife was so excited. My wife actually woke me up. And she said, I'm really excited. Can you guess why? I'm halfway asleep, and I said, it has to do something with the wedding, right? No. What else makes me excited? I said, did you find a check for $3 million?
You did. Please, you didn't.
She said, no. It's snowing outside.
Snow your third guess?
Heck no. I had no idea. I mean, I was sound asleep. But she was happy. And we don't get snow very often. Obviously, it didn't stick. So I did say, she said, because I had no idea how much snow it was. I said, does that mean school's out today?
When in Chicago growing up, how much did it have to snow for y'all to get out of school?
I don't know if it ever
Never
closed it.
Is that right?
You know what?
you're built
I'm going
for
to take that. In 1967, it closed the outer drive. Cars were like.
Was that the big one?
That was the big one. And I think school was closed. That might have been the only time. You know, and it's so funny. When I lived in Steamboat Springs, I mean, the snow here that you get that would, send people
paralyze the
to
town.
Kroger for milk and eggs.
And bread.
Okay. It wouldn't be enough to ski on, for goodness sake.
Because bread and milk's my go-to combo, isn't it, y'all's?
Bread and milk?
That's what everybody goes and gets.
I've never understood why aren't people going to the canned food items like
Taste of Budweiser.
Exactly. I mean, if the power goes out, what are you really going to do with bread and milk? Get some canned vegetables, some canned dinner things that you can just pop open a can and eat. Like that's what I'm doing.
Bread, milk, and eggs. You can make French toast.
You can.
So you better get syrup.
The snow this year in Colorado here is epic. It's perfect.
Don't tell me.
Are you getting those snow reports?
Don't tell me that. No, I'm really not. I haven't I haven't skied in about, I can tell you, it's at least 10 years.
Did you break anything?
Oh, no, I skied like.
Jean-Claude Keeley?
I did. It was.
Name Jean-Claude Keeley. Who is he, Drew?
I'm going to guess a famous downhill skier.
If I said Billy Kidd, Hank Cashua, any of those?
Franz Klammer?
One of the ski jumpers that go down and
No, forget about it.
No, I don't know.
Forget about it. Just forget it.
I was trying to use context clues. Didn't work, apparently.
Google it. Brent Beard down in Jacksonville joins us now.
He knows who Jean-Claude Keeley is.
I
remember that name very well, and Billy the Kid. Absolutely. I don't have any trouble remembering that. And you guys will remember when they're spanning the globe on the wild world of sports, that poor guy that in the agony of defeat.
So can I tell you I'll tell you who that was. Seriously. He lived in Steamboat Springs. His name was Moose Barrows.
You know it goes back. It goes back. Everything goes back to Steamboat for Brent, Dave. Or for Dave, Brent. You just got to understand that.
7 degrees of separation, whatever they call that. Yeah.
That's great. Well, and it was one of the ugliest falls you could ever see, but I understand the guy did real well. But you were talking about what people buy. Listen, it's amazing when we have any kind of a threat of a hurricane. My stars, people head to the store, and the main 3 things they get are bread, water, and batteries. So, and listen, people, it's really comical, frankly. I mean, it's a serious subject, but it's comical. People will buy like half a dozen loaves of bread. They wouldn't eat that much. They wouldn't eat that much bread in 6 months.
I guess you make a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Well, it's for your neighbors. Come on, you guys are friendly in Florida.
Now, Brent, I can't imagine Jacksonville ever even under a little bit of an ice storm threat, is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You get one ever so often.
Well, ever so often. The only direct hit we really had was 64 in Dora, but we had I think it was Matthew a few years ago that actually came closest to a direct hit as any others. But I mean, we've been very fortunate. But I tell you what, there is no man. Let me put it this way. You're caught up in your prayers pretty quickly when one of those things is coming at you, and you're looking at flooding, loss of power, and all that goes with it.
Man,
so,
I am sure those people in Alexandria, Louisiana, yesterday with those twisters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true. That has to be a scary moment.
And did you see where one of the hardest hit was? It was a church and a school combined.
Yeah, boy, Louisiana, they get it coming from the south with the hurricanes. They get the they get the tornadoes, and a friend of mine who lives in New Orleans says there's no freak out in Little Rock, Memphis, Birmingham on ice storm like the rare times New Orleans is under a threat of one flake. He said the freak out factor is major. They're celebrating down in.
I've been in New Orleans where it's cold as could be.
They're celebrating in New Orleans on Joe Burrow. Brent, I want to know the 4.5% of voters that left him off completely of their ballots. And I turn on game day on Saturday morning, and I see Kirk Herbstreit, David Pollack, and Desmond Howard talking about the Heisman Trophy and how to make it better. And I sure don't want to. I don't want to say anything against Desmond Howard because he's won one. He has a right to say whatever he wants.
Right.
But of course, David Pollack, right on cue. You know what his problem is with the Heisman voters? Too many. We have less now than ever, and he thinks there's too many.
He's been saying that all year long, and Herbstreit has been going right along.
He has.
And they, I guess, because they have the privilege of people paying for their travel, they do get to see a lot more college football than most of the people who vote. But I think those of us that do vote,
it's a snapshot of what we see.
We do our homework. We care about it. We watch a lot of college football. And, that to me is an elitist attitude that both of them took.
And it came off at it. Again,
and it bothers me.
I'm not mad at Desmond Howard. He won one. He can say any darn thing he wants to. But Kirk Herbstreit and David Pollack came off as the world's biggest snoots. And I put more time into voting for 1, 2, and 3 in the Heisman than I do for a president of the United States vote.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I do too. And oftentimes, particularly with 2 and 3, and trying to figure that out. And look, a couple things of that, or 3 things real quick. One is if someone that they would be surprised how, and you hit it, Brett. That thing's pretty fluid because you have people drop off and you have people come on. So it really kind of fluctuates back and forth a little bit. And listen, if you didn't vote for Joe Burrow, I don't know why. Listen, you should be suspended next year for voting. If you don't have any more sense than that, you may not have voted and won. But, I mean, if you can't say that Joe Burrow's in the top 3 players of the country, I'm not sure what you're watching, frankly. So, but again, I said this last week, I'll repeat it real quick, is I wish we could discuss who we voted for during the week before we vote.
Well, we can discuss it now. I actually voted the way it ended up, 1, 2, 3, exactly the way the general Heisman population voted. How did you go?
I voted Burrow, Justin Fields, and Jonathan Taylor. I thought for Taylor, anybody that could get nearly 2,000 yards rushing in that conference that deserves to be considered for something.
I cannot argue that. I went Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Chase Young. Now, one thing, Pollack and
so
Herbstreit.
Neither of you guys had Jalen Hurts in there.
I didn't.
Which I had him second, which is what he ended up, and neither of you guys had him in your top 3.
I didn't. I went with Justin Fields in that 40 TDs, 1 interceptions, and undefeated football team. And now Pollack, Herbstreit, and Desmond in that conversation Saturday on game day, they were big on more defensive players. And, Brent, I thought when Charles Woodson won it in 97 that I'm going to be facetious here, that was going to be the transformational vote of all time, and we're going to start voting for defensive players, and nobody really has since.
Well,
except for Ndamukong Suh.
I can tell you before Suh, before Woodson, had I had a vote, I would have voted for Gordy Lockbaum. Because I can remember then the argument was the dude is playing everything. He's offense, he's defense, he's special teams. He's truly what Mr. Heisman was talking about when they came up with this trophy.
Yeah, well, that's a great point. I agree with that. But I tell you why I didn't vote for Jalen. Look, I have great appreciation for Jalen Hurts and what he did at Alabama, and also obviously at Oklahoma. My issue for Jalen is 2 things. One, he is way too turnover prone. And he made and listen, they were very fortunate. They're even in the playoffs with as many turnovers as he caused himself in the last month of the season. And the other thing is, I just don't think Jalen's very accurate. He went in Alabama, he went in Oklahoma, but still, I mean, I give him credit. He's still able to make plays, get the ball to the playmakers, and that's what you should do.
Week number 2 of the Mike Norvell era, and there was an addition, and that is Adam Fuller as your defensive coordinator. We learned today he is not going to be a part of the Cotton Bowl and the preparation or the game itself for the University of Memphis. What was the reception like for Fuller in Tallahassee?
I think right now he is – I think people like it. They're a little bit reserved in what they think after what they have dealt with. He's keeping Ron Dugans on the staff, the former receiver. I think that's pretty good. Alex Hornibrook now is leaving. They did get a quarterback verbal, which they haven't had one out since 2017. And a kid from Valdosta named Tate Roadmaker. Unfortunately, Cam Akers is leaving, so that's going to hurt them. But I think right now people have been impressed. And I know you guys have been with his organization, his attention to detail. He does well in front of the fans and boosters. So, I mean, he certainly is on the honeymoon, and it looks pretty good. But the reality of it is, guys, it's going to be like Lane Kiffin. It's going to be like Sam Pittman. These guys have got a lot of rebuilding to do. And Norvell has a lot of rebuilding at Florida State to do.
So what do you think, if you were prognosticating next year, what would be a good first year for Norvell? And let's start with this recruiting class that, by the way, gets signed tomorrow. What kind of class are they expecting? Has Norvell been able to come in and swoop up some big star guys?
Well, I think for them, I mean, the quarterback we mentioned a few minutes ago, Roadmaker, is a 3-star. But, I mean, Baylor, Northwestern, and Pittsburgh were looking at him, among others. That's a great question, Dave. I would, if for right now, what they really have got to do is they just need to continue to win and get to some bowl games. They're not ready yet to challenge Clemson or anything of that nature. They've just got to get more consistent. I mean, I think if he is 7-5, 8-4, something like that, and they're exciting, they're more disciplined, and so forth, that I think at that point they'll be okay.
He's got to scale Mount Clemson in the ACC. They are at the top. They're probably as much at the top of their league than anybody else domination of their league. They've topped the Alabama supremacy over the SEC. With that, in the national semifinals are a week from this Saturday. They're kind of sneaking up on us a little bit.
Yeah. Really are.
It's also the day of the Cotton Bowl.
Day of the Cotton Bowl as well. Dave, we were talking about this. I think it was more off the air on which way we're going with our official picks, and it feels like Clemson and Dabo are laying and waiting on Ohio State. But I love this Ohio State team. What's your feel about that game and that matchup?
I think you said it very well. And by the way, Florida State's 37 in Rivals recruiting rankings, so they've got a little bit of work to do, to say the least. But Clemson is still able to pull and play the chip on the shoulder, no one pays any attention to us card, even though they're the defending national champions or the reigning national champions, and have got a long winning streak. Dabo will take advantage of that all he can. So, look, guys, to me, the thing that's been most impressive about them has been the consistency of their defense. I mean, losing the guys that they did on their defensive line last year, and to be able to come back and play as well as they have says a lot for them. Now, look, you have to give them a lot of credit, but you also cannot ignore. And we cover the ACC consistently about how down this league is right now, and how. But to Clemson's credit, it's not their fault, and they've taken advantage of the league as they should have.
Now, Norvell is not coaching the bowl game, correct?
That's correct.
So he's doing exactly what he did when he took over the Memphis program, and he let Daryl Dickey, who was then the interim head coach, he let him coach that bowl game.
Right. Now, let me say this, Dave, as an addendum to that. My understanding is I think he's going to be on the sideline, or maybe he may end up in the booth. My understanding is he will be there now, but he is going to let Odell Hagens coach the game. So, but and he'll be at the practices and so forth, so he can certainly observe, and he may have done that too before.
He did. That's exactly what he did here.
So that's basically what he's in line for.
Who's the prime contender to be the first one in the ACC to put pressure on Clemson?
I'm hestatating because I'm just going up and down the list.
Is it FSU historically? Is it the U?
Well,
is it Mac Brown?
It could be Mac Brown because Sam Howell comes back after having a really good year.
Sure did.
So I think you could look at that. Virginia Tech got hot at the end, although they did lose to Virginia. So, you could look at Virginia Tech, North Carolina as possibilities. It's certainly not Miami, and it won't be FSU in the first year, primarily because they don't have the roster yet that they need to do that.
What did that loss to Virginia do for Justin Fuente at Virginia Tech? Just when it looked like, he had righted the ship and they were ready to toss him. That's the first time, in 15 years that Tech lost to Virginia?
Yeah.
What did that do for him?
Well, I think it certainly hurt him a little bit, but they did gain some momentum by the way that they ended the season, except for the Virginia game. They were pretty lost there for a while and seemed to have found themselves much better. So that was good. There's still a lot of work to do. My understanding was there at the beginning of the year that they had a cleansing of the roster, and and some of the kids who really didn't want to be there left, or they were kind of suggested that they needed to, and because of that, it took them a while to kind of get back into it and start over again.
Brent, I hate that this has kind of become pervasive around the bowls and really too much around sports. Well, this doesn't matter. Well, that doesn't matter. We don't care about this. But it is now overwhelming around the bowls that a lot of people don't matter. One unique thing is if they win the bowl game, then the bowl game mattered. And it's a handy excuse if you lose, well, we didn't care, it didn't matter. Yeah. I hate that because I'm going to try to watch. I'm not going to watch every second of every game, but I'm going to try to watch some and go to one or two. And I love the bowl games, but I know the majority is no longer with me on that.
Well, but I think that's what you're seeing now. I think the case in point would be you got Tennessee and Indiana that's playing here, and those are two teams that whoever wins that bowl game goes into the off season with a lot of momentum, and those teams want to be there. They want to play. They want to get something out of it. I think that's a good thing. But we saw a few minutes ago, some of the Georgia players have already declared that they're going to the draft. Now, what I do like is some of these guys like Jerry Jeudy at Alabama, even though that they're likely to go out early, that they're going to play in the bowl game. So I think that's a good thing to be able to see. But we've got so many bowl games. We've got so many different issues going on with this that it is that's causing a lot of the issues that's going on. I agree.
I take the opposite side of any defending of the bowl games. I find it hard for that to become a true barometer when coaches don't coach in them, and now we're getting more and more players not playing in them. It's hard for me to say that we're going to judge our postseason and really our season on a ball game that has really, in my mind, become an exhibition game.
Are you going to feel that way if the Tigers beat Penn State?
I've already told you, Brett, the getting to the Cotton Bowl for me was the reward. Is the head coach going to coach in that game? Is the defensive coordinator going to be in that game? No, they're not.
Are you going to feel that way if the Tigers beat Penn
I'll
State?
feel really glad if they do, because I would love it. But am I going to feel like this season is diminished when they had game day and that incredible celebration, when they beat SMU, when every game was a pressure-packed game to get to the Cotton Bowl, and you had to beat Cincinnati 2 weeks in a row, and you won your first title after 3 straight divisional titles? If they lose to Penn State in the Cotton Bowl, I will still say this was the greatest year in their history.
I will too, but I think it's awfully handy if we win. Heck yeah, hey, ho, ho, we just won the Cotton Bowl.
Penn State's not going to have 2 guys that are supposed to play.
But
so.
if you lose, we didn't care. I just think that's awfully handy to go into it. If we win, it matters. If we lose, it didn't matter.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's one thing. And that's one of the things you've got right now. And I agree. It's a handy excuse, and I do think that when we expand the playoffs, that's going to help some of this. All in all, but I think it will. Frankly, now again, some of your lower tier bowls, I'm not sure what's going to help that. But that's that's just that's a thing that you've got at this point too.
Why do they keep sanctioning these bowls? Why do we have to have? I'm exaggerating. Why do we have to have 19 bowl games in Orlando?
Well, that's a good question.
I'll answer it for you because ESPN needs programming. That's why, and they own it. I think ESPN is now either owns or is partnership with 15 bowl games. That does not include the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which is its own entity.
And it's why it drives me crazy when I hear ESPN talent, ESPN on-camera personnel complain about too many bowl teams. Hey, walk down the hallway to Jimmy Pitaro's office and tell him. I bet they won't do that. And I'm talking about Greg McElroy here. He won't be quiet about how many bowl games there are. Greg, walk down the hallway and tell the head of ESPN that.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, and look, are they? Is that old proverb? You're biting the hand that feeds you, there, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, I bet Greg McElroy doesn't turn down the check he does on those lower tier bowl games.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Thank you, Brett. We'll talk to you next week.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Same to you guys. Appreciate you much.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Always a pleasure to talk with Brent Beard, brought to you in part by Homer. Now, this is really the whole hour. They are title sponsors. We're so proud they're a part of our family. That's Homer, Skelton, Hyundai, and Olive Branch, and Genesis of Olive Branch. And more Genesis products seems to be arriving every day, just in time for the holidays. What a gift that would be. That would make somebody very, very happy to get a special gift like that. Now, I've got a G90, and I must confess, I never thought I'd have a car like this. I'm just proud of. I took a friend to drive, said, let me drive to the game last night. I wanted him to feel the experience of what a Genesis luxury car is all about. And he's a...
Well, glad you didn't wrap it around a tree.
He's kind of a car connoisseur. He loved it. What's not to love? Look, this product's so good, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Every new car on the lot, Hyundais or these beautiful Genesis cars, they all get that kind of guarantee because the technology is so good. Then marry it with the service that you get at Homer Skelton, and you've got the perfect marriage. This is the way car business should be done. Go see for yourself. Get on Highway 78. It's Lamar. When you get into Mississippi, it's the first exit. Number 1, Craft Road. Turn left. Ask about the shopper assurance as well as all this other great stuff. You'll love all the Hyundais and all the Genesis cars at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. We take the break. Back in just a minute. We will talk NFL. Jeff Moore in the house next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do?
What are my options?
What did I do wrong?
We've had those thoughts too.
But some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor.
Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Heater trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning and heating specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their special winter price for a heater tune-up is just $59, and 24-hour service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Nationally ranked Navy and Kansas State will meet for the first time ever at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there as well. Plus, American Idol winner, country music star Scotty McCreery will perform at halftime. It's all happening December 31st at 2:45 in the afternoon. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
I got back into the Family Leisure Studios. Nice to have you with us, always. About halfway through our Tuesday show, we almost kind of put a wrap on the National Football League, and that is with Jeff Moore, who joins us, former Los Angeles Ram as well. Explain to me, since you were part of that NFC West, how in the world do my Niners regain all that momentum? Jimmy G going crazy. How do you lose to the Atlanta
Jeff
Falcons?
has too much credibility to sit there with a straight face when you say my Niners.
So, trap game with an Atlanta team that really has been just very hard to describe this year because, of course, they beat the
They've got
Saints.
some good wins.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten some good wins against some good teams. They got some good talent. And, of course, San Francisco, after that huge emotional win against New Orleans, I mean, they were due for a letdown. And it's just one of those games that it happens. Good thing that it happened when it did. I think they'll recover and be okay.
If you don't mind the little work that we do here, we got to slide you over. We're on television here now, and
I'm sorry,
and I want to make sure people can see your beautiful profile. Get right next to Stats, and it was a trap game, and I really thought Atlanta would be more competitive than they've been this year. I don't know if they've quit on their coach. It is an amazing thing. They were guilty of giving away a Super Bowl to the New England Patriots, but they have not been anywhere near. And that just has to be a psychological barrier that they're just not able to overcome.
And it's fascinating to see that. But I've always just said, the Patriots snatched the heart out of the Falcons that day, and they've not recovered. And they get into games where they're challenged, and you just see that mindset go to
28-3
losing. Yeah, just losing. And it's just a hard thing for a team to overcome, a franchise to overcome, a coaching staff to overcome. And they just haven't done it, and they're going to more than likely make some changes.
And they're not the first, right? I mean, I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but if I recall, the team that has been the runner-up in the Super Bowl has not won their division the next year, or certainly not made
Rams in jeopardy this year.
Bowl. Yeah, well, the Rams are nothing like they
losing
were
on Super Bowl Sunday is not kind to that team for a while, and in that type of scar tissue that the Falcons endured in that day, they can blame me. It's 28-3, and I'm sitting there, and I texted my nephew. I said, "Falcons going to be the champions of football." And he said, "You're forgetting about number 12. And here he comes. From that point on, here comes Brady.
Yeah, it was an incredible comeback. But yeah, I mean, they've not been they've not been the same team since, and they've had the talent. They just have not played that well mentally. And
they
just
Julio Jones.
Yeah, they do. So, I mean, it's just one of those things and it is fascinating to see how the runner-up to the Super Bowl just tends to drop off the map the following year. And there's so many things that have to go well for you to even make it to the big dance. That's why, I just take my hat off to the Patriots that have done it so consistently. You just have to have a lot of things go well, your injuries, your, close games that you win and so forth. There's just so many things that happen during the season, and that runner-up just disappears the following year.
The Pats are about the only one immune to losing on Super Bowl Sunday. It only kind of gives them more cause. They came back from those giant Super Bowl losses. They came back 2 years ago to losing in Minneapolis to the Eagles to winning it last year. They're immune to everything.
Yeah, it's just amazing what they've been able to do up there.
So
consistency.
Drew Brees last night sets 2 NFL records, regular season records. Here's a guy, by the way, I didn't realize, I knew he came from Purdue, but according to our own Johnny Hart and Johnny Radio, he had no offers at all except from Purdue, including, he's from the state of Texas, not Texas where he wanted to go, not Texas A&M, not SMU, not North Texas.
Arkansas passed on him.
All these schools said no. Somehow Joe Tiller at Purdue said yes. And now this guy, well, you could start making arguments that he
went to a Rose Bowl.
The greatest of all time. He doesn't have as many titles, obviously, as Tom Brady does. Now he's passed numbers that Manning has. And Brady's going to do the same thing. Where do you put him in history?
So, he's always been, in the top 5 every year in terms of the way that he plays, because he's always played consistently. I can't remember a year, though, that he's been in the league that he was considered the best at the position. He's incredible in terms of his consistency. I think he's maybe have been in the running for an MVP, but I don't know that he's ever won MVP. He's just a great, consistent talent, but not one who has been up in the upper echelons that you start, you look at the league and you say, hey, Drew Brees is the best quarterback in the league. I don't think we've ever had a year like that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Last year could have been the year. Now, he got really robbed of that opportunity because let's say they go to the Super Bowl and they win that Super Bowl, denying Brady a Super Bowl, and he's the MVP of that Super Bowl. Now he's got 2.
But you had Mahomes.
Now we're start thinking.
But you had Mahomes last year kind of as the
MVP,
guy.
Yeah, but that would have been something great to add to his legacy, and you hate to see what happened to them in the playoffs last year. But I think the most incredible thing for me of the game last night was the consistency. I mean, the 29 out of 30. I mean, the guy's
oh my gosh, I know.
unbelievable.
It's right on time.
And
too.
his career has just been that. That is the way that he plays. He just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't make bad throws. He doesn't make bad decisions. And I think one of the things he's been fortunate with is his head coach and he have just seemed like they've always been on the same page in terms of their offensive strategies and what plays they like.
I don't know how he does it. He must have he must have a photographic mind. And so he memorizes from looking at video. And I'm guessing when I say this, but what the formation of the defense is, knows what could work against that. Because he is so quick at making decisions, and he's handicapped, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's not like Brady because he's not tall to see over everything. He's got to move back, trust what he remembers from videos preparation, and then he does move out of the pocket a lot in order to get the angle to throw. But I think it's harder for him than anybody else because of his height.
There's no question about that. But, I think the other piece, too, is he's been really fortunate to have receivers like a Michael Thomas, guys who, and I think that's a tribute to the Saints organization in terms of their draft picks, because this guy was not a big name coming out of college the year that he was drafted, but he's turned out to be one of the best, most consistent receivers every year. He doesn't drop many passes. But Drew, if you look at his deliveries, I mean, he does maybe 1 or 2 reads and the ball is gone. And that just basically, like you said, it just takes a lot of film study. It takes knowing what the defensive tendencies are and just being really precise.
So now we got, if we just look at quarterbacks, it's quarterbacks league, most important position probably in all pro sports. And you got Lamar Jackson, who's everybody's MVP at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got Wilson, who was everybody's MVP for a little bit there. You got Tom Brady, who's everybody's greatest of all time. You got Breeze. You got Mitchell Trubisky. Got to throw him in there. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now? If you had your pick of one guy
to go through these playoffs with,
who would it be?
I've got to say Lamar because of the way that he's playing, and it's he's a problem for most defenses. You just don't account for a quarterback that's able to do the things that he's able to do. He's getting more and more confident with his throws, his intermediate throws, his deep throws. And, he just is at a different speed back there when he's commanding the offense. So I think he is going to be a weapon to be reckoned with when the playoffs roll around. And they're hungry. I mean, they're focused on getting there and playing well.
And got a seasoned coach that knows what it takes when it gets to playoff time. And the running game and the defense, it travels or It even plays really well at home. This is how good Tom Brady is. We see the end for him. We see it. I don't think he's there, but we see the end.
Yeah.
I think he has to see it. And we're kind of looking at this year as a ham and egg year for him. He's 9th overall in NFL passing for quarterback statistics, over 3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he's on a 11-3 team. What's to criticize?
Yeah, I mean, Tom is the greatest of all time, and what I always marvel with when it comes to him, marvel at it when it comes to him, is how he does it with so many different players in his backfield, his receivers. Edelman is probably the only thing consistent. Gronk would been hurt. He's been hurt a lot, so he was in and out of the lineup. And this guy just lines up out there and says, okay, you know, and he gets those guys. And it's not just the games. I mean, you have to prepare during the week to be able to get the kind of production out of his receivers that he's gotten over the years. And that, to me, is just a tribute to just how great, you know, Tom Brady is.
He did it with Kevin Hogan. He did it with Troy Brown. I mean,
yeah,
he got Moss at the end. He's going to do it probably without a single wide receiver. It goes to the Hall of Fame. Gronk will.
Or an All-Pro or a deep threat. You know, Randy
Moss.
They
had Randy Moss too.
That one year, but still, I mean, this guy just continuously has been able to do it, and it's amazing.
And I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he is pretty darn good at his position. If I want a possession receiver that I think can get me a first down, don't tell me Julian Edelman isn't a guy you're not going to look at.
Especially at playoff time.
No, he's clutch. No question about it. He's clutch. He's mentally tough. He runs great routes. He doesn't drop the ball much. Yeah, I mean, he's the ideal guy in your slot.
A lot of noise the last couple of days about Urban Meyer becoming an NFL football coach. From the Cowboys to the Redskins, those are the two that I think have been talked about most at this point. We know he's always the number one guy anybody could ever want for college, despite some of the baggage he's got. Yeah. What do you think he would be like as a pro coach?
I think it'd just be a tough transition for him. And I think he's a great coach. I think he's one of the greatest college coaches of all time. But when your whole career has been based on working with 18 to 20-year-olds and 22-year-old guys, and then you get into the league where you're dealing with 28 and 30-year-old millionaires, and you have to be able to get them on the same page, it's different. And there's only been a handful of coaches that have been successful doing it, and it's not a knock against him. It's just a totally different mindset. It's a totally different it's a totally different job. And I don't know that just because you're a great college coach, you're going to be a great pro.
Well, how he would have to handle a 30-year-old grown man that may have $25 or $30 million in the bank versus a 20-year-old youngster
trying to get to the league.
Right.
I mean, it's a totally different mindset.
Well, two points that were made was that, and you really touched on it, the psychological ploys that you use to motivate a 20 to 22-year-old guy will not work. In fact, they might be laughed at by veterans who've been around the league for a long time. The second point that was made in a story I read today, and I thought it was very valid, is as good a coach as he is, he's always had, wherever he's gone, because he's been such a great recruiter, he's always had the advantage of having more talent. If you have to line up with equal talent, how good is he going to be? And that question we don't know.
We don't know. But one of the things that is supposedly also one of his strengths is his attention to detail. And I think, one of the things that distinguishes, to me, great coaches in the pros is how well they do the little things and the detail and preparing their players. And that's one of the things that's part of just being a good coach on the pro level, is being able to understand what your players' strengths and weaknesses are, and then being able to analyze what your opponent's strengths and weaknesses are. And Bill Belichick probably does it better than anybody. But that is an asset that could translate. But the other, with the psyche of the players, it'll be a challenge for him. But hey, he's a guy who likes a challenge.
Lou Holtz, who came from NC State to be head coach of the Jets, and then left there when Coach Brawls hired him at Arkansas, he said his one and only year with the Jets at training camp, he said, to build team camaraderie, he said he wrote a team fight song and had one of the football ops people slide it under everybody's door at the dorm they were staying in. And the next morning, John Riggins had slid it back out under the door like, no thanks. And Joe Namath wadded it up and threw it to him at a team meeting, said, I'm not singing any fight song. Fight song days are over.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different. And that's a great example of just what the strings you can pull with an 18 to 22-year-old just don't work with an older guy.
There's a reason why the Marines want to take them in at 18.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want a 26-year-old coming through.
Well, there really haven't been that many that were successful. Steve Spurrier was successful in the USFL, bombed in the NFL. Nick Saban was not very successful in the NFL, and some would say he's the greatest college coach of all time. Yeah. Pete Carroll is the one guy. Jimmy Johnson.
Pete Carroll,
and
Jimmy Johnson, and from Oklahoma.
Barry Switzer.
They were the only three.
We could have won that title. He won with the Cowboys.
Jerry
Jones said 500 people could win it. So I think we're in that 500, aren't we?
Maybe so.
Yeah, it's a tough transition. But it'd be great to see him back in the coaching slot.
Real quick, when we got to go. And I looked, I wouldn't have known. Can y'all guess in the top where Julian Edelman ranks in yardage receiving all time in the NFL?
Oh, all time?
All time.
72.
Yeah, I mean he's not close. I would guess maybe around 50-ish.
174.
Okay.
Yeah. How many first downs per reception? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. He's clutch.
You got the Google machine. Research it.
I'll do it in the break. We take that time out, Jeff, as always. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Yes. We'll be off next week, but Merry Christmas to you and to your family, and we only wish you the very best of health and happiness.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you all.
We take the quick time out. We're back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
So, how's the Christmas shopping going? Well, Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch is here to make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. Ladies' boutique-style clothing, Carhartt for the guys, and boots for everyone. In Frontier's boutique department, you'll find the latest trends at incredible prices with a huge inventory of basics like leggings, tops, tunic dresses, CC beanies, scarves, gloves, and more. New styles of fleece jackets by Simply Southern are this year's must-have item, and Frontier is stocked with new colors. Guys will be after the large assortment of Carhartt and Ariat jeans and shirts, maybe even a new coat, jacket, or insulated coveralls. Can't forget the boots, work boots and dress boots from Rocky, Dan Post, Ariat, and more. Frontier is the place to come for thousands of name brand boots for men, women, and kids at everyday low prices. Don't know the size or color to get? Then how about a Frontier gift card and let them pick it out? Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Who wants to go see some lights?
Funny thing about the holidays is nothing flies by faster.
Hey guys, want to build a snowman? Yay! Ready to open presents? Yay! Excited for New Year's? Woo! Who's ready to go back to school?
Well, actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast. That's because for a very limited time, you'll find some of our best offers on our most popular models. But don't wait. Offers end January 2nd. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Lexus of Memphis.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Have you started thinking about what to get your favorite lady this year for Christmas? Whatever you get her should carry a message, and that message needs to say how much she means to you. For 35 years, Mid-South men have been giving our jewelry-filled boxes which hold magnificent rings, spectacular precious gemstone bracelets and necklaces, high-fashion earrings and pendants created in 14-karat gold or sterling silver. She will get the message. When you give her a gift from Russell Brothers Jewelers, she will know you care about her enough to give her the finest there is. Beauty, quality, value, and service all go into our gift wrap boxes at Russell Brothers, along with the most exquisite jewelry anywhere. I invite you to come and enjoy the holiday atmosphere at Russell Brothers. Come see the wide selection of exquisite jewelry. Let us help you find the gift that tells her just how much you care about her. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshyn and Brett Norsworthy.
Coming up, more NFL. Bo Marchant will be joining us in a little bit. We get a texter on the First Bank text line 67129. It says, talking too broad of a stroke on bowls. The team who hasn't been cares the first New Year's Bowl in ages matters. That's not really my point. Yeah, I agree. I think for Tiger fans, this is amazing. It's not the first New Year's Day Bowl in ages. It's the first New Year's Day Bowl, period. It's a peak we never thought capable of climbing to. So that part matters. This is my point. When I was young in the 70s, when you were young in the 80s, especially when the Liberty Bowl was with the seventh oldest bowl, there were 7, there were 8, there were 10, there were 12 bowls. Those teams and how they played against other conferences was a true barometer. You played them closer to, it seemed to me, except for the New Year's Day Bowls, you played them, it seemed like closer to the way the season ended, and everybody played and everybody coached, and if a coach made a bowl game, he wasn't leaving. My point is, the way the sport is set up, and it's on the sport. It's on the NCAA or the bowl people or ESPN. It's on whoever is in charge of the way postseason
Those big 4 letters.
They have taken away the legitimacy, in my mind, of making this a barometer game. Because when coaches don't coach and players don't play, then it's not a true test.
I don't disagree with a single word you said.
And that's the point that I am trying to make. And I don't, in my mind, and you may argue this, and I'm not going to crow to the world if Memphis beats Penn State and then it's going to matter more. I'm saying on the front end, if Memphis loses this game, it does not, to me, diminish this incredible year.
It doesn't to me either. I just think it's antithetical to everything about sport that you can have it both, not you, but in the broad, like the texter said, in the broad, that you can go into it, and if we win, this really mattered, but if we lose, who cares? I just think that's a cheap way out for the defeated team. On the front end, the bowls matter to me.
They do. And for the reasons I just gave, for me, not so much. But they're fun. And I don't want to cut them out. And am I excited about going to Jerry's World? Am I excited about Memphis getting to play Penn State? You betcha.
I promise you, if the Tigers win, that post-game locker room scene with Ryan Silverfield 1-0 as Tigers head coach, I wouldn't suggest anybody go up to him and go, Coach, this really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll remember that one.
Now, if you're defeated, great year, a lot of progress made. on to the next time. Absolutely, you have that.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. To me, that very first game where it was Memphis and Ole Miss this year, or Auburn and what was it? Texas? Did they play the first game? Who did Auburn play in the
Oregon?
Oregon. LSU played Texas in that first game. Those, to me, are more indicative
than the Cherry Bundy Tart Boca Raton Bowl.
And they're really barometers, because now you know really what your teams might be made of, as opposed to this one.
All right, where
players and coaches aren't involved.
Out of the 39 bowls, I could eliminate 15 in a blink of an eye. It's never going to happen. We're going to have more next year.
I know it. And that's just an economic fact. And that's 2 hours in the books. More on the NFL. Our friend Beau Marchant will join us momentarily. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do?
What are my options?
What did I do wrong?
We've had those thoughts too.
But some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor.
Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday from 10 to 1 at Classic Arms, 1740 Germantown Road behind Corky's. 'Tis the season at Classic Arms with all kinds of holiday specials. Pay no sales tax on all firearms. Buy, sell, trade, Classic Arms does it all. Plus, we'll be giving away Tigers basketball tickets and AutoZone Liberty Bowl tickets. We also have Garibaldi's Pizza, so we've got your lunch taken care of. That's this Friday at Classic Arms on Germantown Road behind Corky's. Come see us.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
NFL with Bo Marchant. After I tell you about the title sponsor this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales, down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online, check out the referrals at DeSotoAutosales.com. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test-driven, checked out quite literally bumper to bumper, head to toe, all points in between, and an unlimited inventory at DeSoto Auto Sales, where they have every make and every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. You'll be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, down-home environment, laid-back atmosphere. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, and they care about your time. They're very conscious that we're living in a world today that time matters, and they want you to have the ultimate car experience where you walk in, within 45 minutes, you test drive your car, get credit approved, paperwork done, and you're gone at DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road in DeSoto County. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience on Goodman Road.
On this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, wintry like, it's been a day where Kenny Gainwell, second team Sporting News All-American, we learned that Kevin Clune is going to be the interim defensive coordinator for the Cotton Bowl, which means that Adam Fuller is out. The Grizzlies were big winners, but it's a day where we got pretzels from Bo Marchant.
Man, Bo, we did. And they are spicy.
We got, and I got to say, now I know why Bo Marchant became a triathloner. Because if you eat these pretzels, you got to be on the move, man.
You got to run to some water.
You got to run to water. You got to sweat it out. I mean, Bo, now I know your secret.
They're delicious, but they are larraping.
I hope you enjoyed them, guys.
We did.
They're
We
made with
thank
love.
you. We thank you.
And I divvied them up third for all of us, and Drew and Dave loves them, and thank you so much, Bo. Really kind of you.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed them. Real quick, my grandfather, that's his recipe, and the only way that he wouldn't give you the recipe, you had to make them with him. And years and years and years ago, I made them with him, and I have 7 aunts. Until this day, they want the recipe, and I said, you got to come and make them with me, just like Grandpa wanted, but they don't want to do it.
Well, there's some kind of like hot licorice-y Italian herb that's in there.
Can't tell.
That's the fennel.
I know. Fennel. Okay, good. Yep. Is that what makes me want to run or drink or sweat?
Does it clear out the sinuses of the whole neighborhood when you're brewing them up?
I don't know yet. So yeah, no, they're not that bad, but you get that Tadell smell, I guess, in the house. But the heat doesn't get you.
I had to give up the booze a long time ago. I would imagine washing them down with a cold beer would be a good remedy.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I have not given up that advice. And I think that's the best way to handle the problem with that heat, because they're really good and addicting, but they got a punch to them.
Tell us about Duck Hodges. It was not his finest hour on Sunday night.
But he's the starter next week, right? They just said he's coming back.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, he's an undrafted rookie, and I mean, any rookie quarterback, you're gonna have trials and tribulations, and it was just a matter of time before he came back down to earth, and he had one of those debacle games, and it came against a fantastic defense. I mean, the Bills, one of the best defenses, and he said after the game that they were surprised about how much that the Bills blitzed on first and second down, and that was the thing that I think kind of drove the Steelers crazy, was they weren't prepared for how much Buffalo was going to kind of come after him, and applaud Buffalo. That's smart thinking. You got a guy that's not very experienced, and if you have the guys, the horses to go after him, make it happen. And they did. He was unable to get out of the pocket. They were in his face all day. 4 sacks, 4 INTs, 7 quarterback pressures. I mean, Buffalo was fantastic defensively, and when that happens, it's just as well as the Pittsburgh defense plays, when the offense can't get anything going, you're going to have a 17-10 loss. And for me, when I see the Steelers, they're a bend but not break team. from the point where Ben went down in week 2 against Seattle, I really didn't know where this team would be, and I still don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'll win out. I don't know if they'll win another game this year. That could have been, there's just so many things that have to go perfect for the Steelers to win. I just don't know. I mean, the Jets are kind of a similar team. They can rise up this weekend. They can beat anybody, and then they face the Ravens, who are red hot. So it's going to be a tricky task for the Steelers to, maybe get into the playoffs even.
We have, through the years, thoroughly lampooned and criticized, I think mostly rightfully so, the AFC East. There's no way Buffalo in the Lee Corso sneaking around the chicken coop backs in there and steals it, can they?
You know what? I mean, for all the Patriot haters out there, you would like to think that this is the time Buffalo goes to Foxborough and steals the division from the Patriots. Quick note, the last time the Bills won the AFC East was 1995. They finished first, and Josh Allen was yet to be born. He was born a month later in the month of May. So just it shows you how long Buffalo has kind of not been able to get over the hump and win that division.
Jimmy Kelly's last playoff win that year.
Yeah, it's a huge game. I think it's just for them to be at this point where they, it's December, there's 2 games left in the season, and I think for Buffalo, I think just for a fan to say about time there's actually a team in this division that maybe could knock the Patriots off their pedestal, but I've called the Patriots out too many times and said they were dead, and until this dragon is slayed, I can't go against them. It'd be hard to think that they're going to have 2 home losses. If they had the Chiefs, 2 weeks ago, and they come back to Foxborough and lose another one, that's a hard pill to swallow in my mind. I would say that the Patriots are good enough still to kind of prevail over the Bills, as well as the Bills are playing.
I don't know. Wouldn't you say at this very moment that the Bills are the hotter team?
I think they're the hotter team, but look at the Pittsburgh Steelers were. I mean, they were 1 drive away from tying that game, and again, I think that Buffalo is getting by, and I just think New England is still New England. And, are they the hottest team? No, but, they got their thing together, and they beat a lousy Bengals team this weekend, but they beat them pretty good. And I think that's the message you wanted to see out of New England was how are you going to kind of come back after the Chiefs win? Are you going to scrape by a Bengals team that, can't get out of their own way? Or are you going to kind of, put it to them and have a big win? And I just think, again, until New England is done, I'd have to go with New England. And again, it goes back to I just can't imagine 2 straight losses at Foxborough at this point. And this is the one thing. It's when you're trying to get to the top of the mountain, there's a lot of pressure. There's more pressure on Buffalo to make a statement than, the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots are a game ahead. They've been in this situation. I mean, this is a huge game, and we'll find out how Buffalo, comes out. I mean, if they come out and win, then, maybe they show some, real, steel, nerves of steel. But if not, it's going to just kind of be, hey, you got next year. You're going to kind of have to keep working at it to get past this Patriots team.
That's the AFC East. Let's span the country and span the league and go to the NFC West, where Seattle and San Francisco keep swapping top spots and best wild card teams.
2 good teams.
2 really good teams, but the Seahawks lose Josh Gordon. I can't imagine he's coming back this year, if he comes back at all. I mean, how many strikes do you need? 6 strikes and you're out? I have no idea what will happen.
That's 6 we know of.
So does that really hurt? Does that give Jimmy G and the Niners a leg up?
You know what? I'm looking at just the schedule. I mean, Seattle has 2 home games, and San Francisco's got a home and away, and their last away game is at Seattle in Week 17. And they play a good Rams team at home this week. So, we know the Rams can't find any rhythm, but, the talent is there. And when you have talent, you just never know what could happen. And, that's going to be a big game Saturday night. I wouldn't put too much stock in what Josh Gordon was doing. That offense goes through Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf during the pass. He was coming in. He was that 3rd, 4th option for Russell Wilson. So, and he wasn't established enough in that offense to kind of say, hey, we got to take notice of this guy. I mean, do you know he's out there? Do we know who he is? Yes, but he wasn't a force yet for Seattle. So, it hurts. There's a reason they did pick him up because they wanted to add a little bit more juice. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's still Russell Wilson. It's that ground game with Chris Carson. And then, they just find a way to kind of, Russell Wilson has a way of kind of making, Will Disley was a blocking tight end coming out of college, and he was having a fantastic season before he tore his ACL. Jacob Hollister's that new weapon for him. They're kind of finding their way through in the passing game, but I wouldn't put too much in the, Josh Gordon being out and that derailing the Seahawks. Do I know who's going to win this division? I don't. I just like the fact that Seattle has 2 home games, and we know the 12th man's in Seattle, so I just kind of give a little bit of the nod, saying that place is going to be rocking and rolling when, these next, especially in Week 17 when the 49ers go to Seattle.
Bo, I've cheated a bunch of times today throwing out nuggets, so I'm ahead of y'all. I've already looked, so it's really not fair to try to be a Weisenheimer here. Y'all want to guess the number of interceptions this year for Aaron Rodgers?
2.
That's correct.
Very
good.
I was going to say 4. You win.
You win, Bo.
How many do I wish he threw?
Well, now, why are you saying that, Dave? You're a Niners fan now.
No. I'm a
He's
Niners.
with the Legions, Dave.
I am no.
He sure did.
These guys make things up. I am a Niners aficionado.
Drew,
you've said my Niners 10 times just today.
Can I
just today?
It's like you're dating porn stars with Jimmy G. You've adopted him so.
Beyond the Bears. The Bears are always my team. This is my new love. I'm an aficionado of them. I turned the world on to Jimmy G. I warned you all about the Niners.
So you were
none of you would listen to me.
Dave was a Niners fan back to Frankie Albert.
So John Brody in the way back days.
George Myra.
George Myra was my guy. He was from Florida.
Yeah, Miami, Florida. When they
you're
were
having
Miami,
a little
Florida.
affair, a football affair with the 49ers, Dave, huh?
Yeah.
Just a little.
I can remember when they played in Kezar Stadium.
Wow, that's before me.
That's Golden Gate Park, my friends.
That's before everybody.
Wow.
That was before Steamboat. That was before the Steamboat years.
That was when I was really young.
Now, Dave, were you there the day Gale Sayers had the big day off? Because I think that was against the Niners.
That was against the Niners. Absolutely.
Were you there that day?
I was there that day.
Wow.
Were you a Bears fan then?
Oh,
Dave?
yeah.
Oh, my.
Okay.
I grew up in Chicago, and
a block from Wrigley.
I grew up by Wrigley, and my uncle had season tickets. And so I would probably, starting in about when I was 10 years old, when the Bears won the championship in *63, I would go to at least half of their games every year in Wrigley Field. So yeah, I was around when the league was really good, and you would see guys like Johnny Unitas would come in, and you could tell that was extra special. You could tell the great players back in those days. You really could.
Wow, that's fantastic. I didn't know that had to be a terrific childhood, being able to kind of be around that atmosphere.
Oh, it was.
So much.
But in the meantime, the Niners are pretty good this year. There is no question. Now, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but we want your great take on it. There's a lot of rumbling going on since there's no great opening at this moment in college football, that Urban Meyer is toying with the idea of becoming an NFL coach. And the most rumored are the Washington Redskins, which have an opening, and the Dallas Cowboys, which will almost certainly have an opening. Do you think Urban Meyer would be a good NFL coach?
You know what? I don't know. College guys really make me nervous. I don't know. I'd say I'm 50-50. I really do, just because I think when you're a great recruiter, and he is a fantastic recruiter, I just think it's a lot different of a platform when I have 5-star recruits and you don't have any. When you get to that next level, everybody has 5-star recruits. So that's when the coaching comes into play. And it's not to take anything from the coaching that he did at the collegiate level. I just don't know how that translates when, I have 5 stars and you have 5 stars. And again, college guys, it's great to kind of get caught up in the moment. And I mean, he is one of the best. But again, we've even seen him with Saban. It's just, I just think it takes a little bit of a different mentality. We've called Chip Kelly, go to Philadelphia and kind of get, shunned back to the collegiate level. And there's guys, we can find college coaches who have had successful careers. But for me, I would be along the lineage that, take a guy that has an NFL background before I'm going to take a big college name.
I go young, hot shot before I try that, because you can churn through young hotshot. You can try the next young hotshot. You fail, and Daniel Snyder's failed with just about every model, hadn't he?
Yeah, and and you're talking about two owners, and Jerry Jones and Daniel Snyder is, does Urban Meyer want to have his first job where he really isn't in control? And I think on the flip side, when you're at that collegiate level, I mean, you have power. I mean, you are a powerful man on campus. I mean, you do what you want, how you want to do it. To kind of go in that atmosphere where you have, these mega owners and Jones and Snyder, and you kind of don't have that reign. Again, I think that's something that I would be leery of.
But how many NFL coaches have that kind of leeway? I mean, Bill Belichick does, okay?
It's not so much the leeway. I just think it's the handling of the way, I mean, Jerry Jones, we know, how many owners, I see Mr. Rooney after every game in the Steelers, and the only thing he does is come into the locker room and shake the guy's hands. He's not doing any pressers. He's not talking about a foul up by Tomlin. He's not
doing his radio show.
Yeah, he's not doing a radio show. Dave Kraft, Robert Kraft doesn't do it. I think that's where it is. It's not so much you have the power, but again, you have this guy over your head that kind of wants to be the coach and the GM and the president and everything, that comes with owning a team. And, I think that's where, especially Jones. I'll take it to the grave. Jimmy Johnson came in, and ever since that, I think we'd all agree, Barry Switzer caught the tailwind of the greatness and was able to get a ring. And absent of that, they've been a good team. When you're the Cowboys, you're always going to be hyped up. But, a lot of times, it's kind of like a paper champion. It's great on paper, but not great on the field.
It's unarguable. Jimmy Johnson was.
I was just going to say, I think Jimmy Johnson truly was a great coach.
Fantastic.
Barry Switzer was a great college coach. I don't think we can deny that. But he rode Jimmy Johnson's whole deal.
And it's funny as we bring up Jimmy Johnson, and probably everybody out there listening, like, well, he was a college coach at Miami, so why can't Urban Meyer do it?
Well, so was Switzer at Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Bill Walsh had been at Stanford,
and Pete Carroll,
and Steve Mariucci was a good NFL coach who had been at Cal, but he was just good. How about this one for Urban Meyer? Back home, and be the clean up on aisle 5 for Freddie Kitchens with the Browns.
I could see that. That one I could see. More so than, Dallas and Washington. I could see maybe him coming home. You got a good young quarterback in Baker Mayfield. If they can keep Odell Beckham,
Nick Chubb.
There's some pieces there. Chubb, not that, Dallas doesn't have the pieces, but, this is a young core in Cleveland. A lot of talent, on both sides of the football. So, if I'm going to gamble and take that jump, I would do the Cleveland job before I would, kind of go and, kind of have to deal with, George Allen and Washington and Snyder, and then, dealing with the comings and goings of, pleasing Jerry Jones. And, well, you know what? I've been meaning to ask you guys, not to get off subject, but do you think Jason Garrett could be a better coach if he could actually maybe do what he wanted and not have a Jerry Jones owner?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer. I know that I think Jerry's been loyal to him because he's allowed Jerry to really be the guy. And how many times did Jason Garrett go back in his office, throw his pen on the floor, shake his head, pull his hair out, and go, "This is 180 from what I want to do, but guys, this is all we can do. We've got to do it."
Right?
But I don't know the answer to that. I really don't.
I've been thinking about that.
And left to his own vices, Jerry Jones was going to take Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Instead of that good guard. Instead of that good offensive lineman. Boy.
Travis was, I tell you what. You know what? Until this day, if I never get another prospect right, I got Manziel right.
You did, Bo. You sure did. and silly me, I was ready to buy a jersey and had him. I had written his Canton speech for him.
I think there's an AAF jersey that's the Memphis Express you could buy.
Thank you, Dave. I went to 2 AAF games and didn't see Johnny in either one. You saw him.
I saw him, but Dave, that's what you're getting Brett for Christmas this year. Johnny Manziel.
There
jersey.
you go. Perfect.
We figured it out.
Perfect.
Bringing the show 360 right there.
I don't need any more sports memorabilia. I don't have room.
And
for
I
all
bet
of it
I
now.
could find one of those for like $1.25.
Probably.
Yeah.
Bo, the NFC goes through what team?
I think it's going to go through New Orleans. They got 2 home games. I think we know Seattle and San Francisco, one of them's going to lose. So that because they play each other. So I just think Seattle or New Orleans, they're home. Drew Brees. Obviously, 29 for 30, a humongous game last night against Monday night against the Colts. So I've been on this. I said the Saints all year, so I got to stick with them. They're right in the thick of it, so I can't jump.
Y'all
off
have
now.
been Saint loyalists all year. You three,
Yeah. Wow.
Drew, Dave, Bo. Everybody had the Saints, but poor Brett.
They got Drew Brees. I know that. Who wins the East, Cowboys or Eagles?
That's tough.
I want to say the Cowboys, but it seems like the Eagles get hot this time of year. So I'm going to go against everything. This is just complete insanity, but I'm going to say the Eagles kind of get past it. I think Carson Wentz has played his butt off this year. I just love the toughness he's shown with depleted offense. When you look at the Cowboys, really not that much adversity. Everybody has injuries. Basically, everybody's been there. Some dinged up Amari Cooper, but nonetheless, I've had a healthy Zeke Elliott all year. On the flip side, you have this gritty Eagles team, and they get hot. They get hot right now. I think the last couple of years since they won that Super Bowl, this time of year is when the Eagles start to shine, and they're kind of making their way back into it. So, and they're home. You got to say that's a big thing being in Philadelphia, Cowboys are on the road. So I'm going to say the Eagles.
Bo, in that neck of the woods where you live in eastern Ohio near western PA, and I think it's an hour north of Pittsburgh, have you ever been to a game in Beaver Falls at the high school of Joe Namath?
No, I've never been to Beaver Falls for a game. But the only thing I have been to Beaver Falls is Orman's Donuts. If you're ever there, you got to stop.
Ah, you're talking.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll take donuts next Christmas.
I tell you what, if I send you their cinnamon rolls, you're going to put me in your will. That's how good they are.
Oh, I love cinnamon rolls. We got a donut place here, by the way, called Gibson's Donuts. You can look it up.
We'll do a Lend-Lease program with
we'll do a swap. We'll just trade out.
Yeah.
We'll trade. Yeah.
Yeah, I someday I love going to see where they came from, because everybody comes from somewhere. Everybody played, at a hokey little league park or a high school stadium. I'd love to go walk right down the middle of the field where Joe Willie came from.
Based on little documentaries I've seen about Beaver Falls, it looks fantastically beautiful.
Yeah, it's in the it's hilly. It's it's western PA. Lots of not mountains, but you got the close to mountain hills, and a lot of pine and green, and it's a good place. I wouldn't want to live there just because it seems like every house is on a steep hill. So there's flat parts, but I just think of the snow that they get, and if you live in this area, every time that there's a snowfall, you could just ask anyone. You go into the grocery store and ask anybody in the area, Trumbull, Mahoning County. Beaver Falls, Beaver Local School, they will not have school because they get so much and it's such a hilly town. So you can just guarantee if there's snow, it's a school day. If there's a day off, it's a snow day.
But the donut place never closes.
Makes it worth it.
Those donuts, since you got so excited, I'm telling you, the next thing I'm going to send you is donuts. They might be a day or two old, but nonetheless, when you get these cinnamon, first of all, they're like the size of a steering wheel, these cinnamon rolls. They're like a Frisbee.
Wow.
And they're delicious. Yeah.
Wow.
And quick one, Dan Colbert, that's the son of Kevin Colbert, the GM. I was talking to him about him. And he says his father, Kevin, goes to Orms on draft day and brings those, to the office, and they have those donuts while they're getting underway for draft night.
That's why they draft so well.
I love cinnamon roll. I'll tell you what, if we're going to make an exchange, we'll get some Gibsons. I don't know how we send it to you, but it's the apple fritters and the glazed donuts that they are famous for. Thank you, my friend, as always.
I think we had arteries clogged just in the conversation. Thank you, man. Thank you, Bo.
Yep. Bye, guys.
He is Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com, brought to you in part by the Eflin Insurance Group. Matt Eflin, I told you last night, I didn't realize this till the trip to Knoxville. He's actually got an office in Arkansas. How about that? How about his brilliance? If you know insurance in Memphis or throughout different areas of Tennessee, and you know it in Arkansas, you know your stuff, and he does. 20 years of dedication in the insurance business, all for the most part in this market, except he's now branched out a little bit to Arkansas, as I mentioned. And he just has this great one-on-one approach that sort of, I think, separates him from everybody else. He evaluates everybody's individual insurance needs, and he's got all types of insurance to fill those needs, personal or business. Not many do that combo. He does. He'll sit you down, and if it's personal, it's about family and health insurance and, you know, how many kids have you got and what have we got to take care of, and he does it. And then the same thing with business. He's going to forecast the way you'll be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what's important, what must we protect, and he finds the product, and you feel secure. If you'd like that feeling, if you'd like for find out quotes and to get that personalized service, you call 757-2315, 757-2315. That's the Eflin Insurance Group. Back in a minute, Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl is standing by. We talk Navy and K-State next. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit our Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Starting this week, get 3 juicy snow crabs, 17 shrimps, 2 whole sausages, 2 corn, 2 eggs, and a large side of potatoes for only $43.99. That's right, $43.99. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab Kings is number 1. Make the right choice the first time. Make it Crab Kings. Come and devour our tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, and catfish. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pastas with your choice of toppings. Visit our Bartlett Cordova locations at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab Kings is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, Google Crab Kings Memphis or download the app. Crab Kings, a Memphis original.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Have you started thinking about what to get your favorite lady this year for Christmas? Whatever you get her should carry a message, and that message needs to say how much she means to you. For 35 years, Mid-South men have been giving our jewelry-filled boxes which hold magnificent rings, spectacular precious gemstone bracelets and necklaces, high-fashion earrings and pendants created in 14-karat gold or sterling silver. She will get the message. message. When you give her a gift from Russell Brothers Jewelers, she will know you care about her enough to give her the finest there is. Beauty, quality, value, and service all go into our gift wrap boxes at Russell Brothers, along with the most exquisite jewelry anywhere. I invite you to come and enjoy the holiday atmosphere at Russell Brothers. Come see the wide selection of exquisite jewelry. Let us help you find the gift that tells her just how much you care about her. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. This portion of the show brought to you by one of my favorite places. My wife and I, we may go tonight. We go there at least once a week. It's Soulfish.
Great plan.
We love going to Soulfish. If you love fish, you're going to love Soulfish. If you love catfish, you're really going to love it. It's the number one catfish place in Memphis. Has been every year in Memphis Most, but then it also, that 1 year in Memphis Most, it was number one catfish, number one seafood, number one soul food. And I understand why, because their veggies are so good. Their greens. People love greens. Oh, people clamor for those greens. And they're all over the place now. Started in Cooper Young, you know that. Right there on Cooper Avenue, and they've redone that place once. It's fantastic. Then they moved to the shops of Forest Hill Irene. That's Germantown, right on the Collierville border. Then they moved into East Memphis, right east of Perkins on Poplar in the old Wolf Camera location. That place is packed all the time. That's the one I go to all the time. It's in my hood, and I just love going there. And they take such good care of you. And then they open up in Wolf Chase, and they're like breaking all kinds of records. This is on top of one in Little Rock and one in Oxford. They just keep getting bigger and better. So go check it out. If you want catfish or that rainbow trout my wife always gets, you've got to head to Soulfish. We are joined, as we always are, in this time slot on the business of bowls and, of course, the AutoZone, Libertyville, the Big Cheese, the head honcho. And I really was a little worried about Steve Earhart, honestly, and I'll tell you exactly why. He went to the Army-Navy game, and I know, Brett, that was big on a bucket list thing for you. He'd never been there before, and he is there, and then he's out there looking at all the pageantry and checking on all the Navy admirals and everything else, and a big, burly guy came and smacked him on his back. And Earhart almost had a heart attack.
Who was it, Steve?
It was Secret Service because he was going to go see Donald Trump.
Yeah. All right, I took that hit there, but you're right. That Army-Navy game is just an unbelievable, intense spectacle because it's more than the homecoming. It's more than a championship. It's the pride of the two service academies and every alumni all over the world. And just for example, and I know Stats, you know him, but sitting with Roger Staubach at the gala the night before and then during the game, and he was intense as he could be. And it's been 40 years since he won the Heisman, isn't it? Or maybe longer than that.
1963.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh,
so
56 years. 56 years ago. Wow.
It really was intense. And again, we're so pleased and honored to have Navy coming to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We haven't had Navy since 1981, so that's 38 years ago. And
that was Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
They played Ohio State. You're exactly right. In fact, the 1981
that's my
Navy
first
team
Liberty Bowl.
is planning a reunion here during our game this year on December 31st, and they couldn't have treated us with more respect and, had us right up there. And again, it was just so exciting to hear all the young mids. I've learned midshipmen are now mids, not middies, so be careful what you say.
Steve, I pulled hard for Navy on Saturday, and my dad was in the Army, so most years I pull for Army in that game, but I was pulling for Navy to get to double-digit wins for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And Dave made the point yesterday, just all the good teams that the Tigers beat this year.
4 10-win teams.
That's
Memphis
impressive.
knocked off.
Yeah. Well, and Navy's only 2 losses were at Notre Dame and here in Memphis with the Tigers. They remind everybody that Malcolm Perry, their great quarterback, was banged up in the second half, and Memphis won on big plays. But that's how Memphis has been winning all year is on the big plays. But again, the Navy folks, and you ought to come out just to see Malcolm Perry. I mean, this is the young man from Clarksville. He can cut, and he's switched directions and speeds like nobody else. And I think if he decides, and I know President Trump went in the locker room and said if anybody wants to go make some money in the NFL, they'll delay your 5-year obligation until you finish in the NFL. In fact, Napoleon McCallum was there. Remember back years ago,
did.
he was the running back that didn't he end up playing for the Raiders for a while?
They did, but he and Staubach were different. They had to go serve
Roger
first.
Staubach went to Vietnam
and then come and play.
Yeah.
So,
but
that was entirely different. I want to talk about Malcolm Perry and all the kids from Memphis and from the state that are part of the Naval Academy. But you did go see Donald Trump. What did he ask your advice, or what was that meeting all about?
Well, no, actually, we talked about the Army-Navy game and that Navy was going to be in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And we did talk about, because remember Herschel Walker, who I'd signed into the USFL, played for Donald in the USFL. So we were talking about how Herschel is still the greatest running back to ever play the game. But no, we were focused on the game. He sat on the Army side for the first half and then walked across and then sat on the Navy side. But it was a great spectacle, and I encourage any football fan to go. I'd been to games at Annapolis and at West Point, but never at the big season-ending game. But I'm hoping, and I think it's going to carry over the enthusiasm of the players to be here and to play against a very stout Kansas State team who's 8-4, and they were the team that beat Oklahoma, and so we really do have a great matchup, like you said, with a 10-2 ranked Navy team playing against 8-4 Kansas State. So we look forward to a really good matchup here on December 31st.
So real quick, I'll tell y'all my Secret Service story from the day I went to the Army-Navy game in 2001. It was about 14 weeks after 9/11, and Philadelphia was in total lockdown. It was the safest place on planet Earth that day. I mean, nothing was going to happen. It had big contraptions going around town checking for radiation and the place being gassed. And offensive coordinator friend of mine was OC at Army, John Bond, not Mississippi State John Bond, but John Bond was OC, and he had left me a ticket at will call, and I got to will call, gave him my name, gave him my driver's license. You could tell there was a little hesitancy, and a nice lady at the vet came up to me and she said, "Sir, you had a sideline pass, but you have been deemed unnecessary." And I thought, boy, there's not a more apt description of me ever that I'm unnecessary. And she said, "No, I don't mean you personally are unnecessary, but unnecessary to be on the sideline. Here's your seat in the stands." And that's when I found out, and the news was breaking around town that President Bush was on the way, and anybody that didn't matter wasn't on the sideline that day, and I didn't matter.
You were deemed
unnecessary.
Unnecessary. That is very good. Steve, I don't have any idea how ticket sales are going, and I know Malcolm Perry's worth the price of admission, and there's 6 kids from Memphis on this team. I think 11 or 13 from the state of Tennessee. And I asked you earlier. You gave me the greatest answer, and I'm going to ask you again. Was there any dampening of spirit by anybody because you didn't get an SEC team this year, and it's Navy and not Mississippi State or Tennessee?
Well, I think we talked about it last week, but for the fans out there, it's a special time to get Navy. We haven't had Navy for 38 years, and they're a national team, if not an international team, where you got viewers all over the world tuning in. They promoted the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in the CBS telecast last week several times about how Navy was going to play. And, we're basically, most years we are going to have an SEC team. And 2 years ago, we reached into the American Conference, had Memphis' only appearance in the 61-year history of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And now Navy's coming back after 38 years. So most years we're going to have an SEC team, but the quirks of the fact that Missouri was on probation by the wicked old NCAA, and had they been not, or they'd not been placed on probation by the NCAA, then there would have been enough teams to go around. Now, we would not have had Missouri because we had them last year, but then could have said. But if you took threw it up in the air right now, I've asked a lot of folks here in Memphis, said, which would you rather have? Maybe more a local team here from the SEC, or having kind of America's team, so to speak, that folks all over the country are going to be tuning in, and all the sailors and the veterans here that want to watch Navy football. So I think it's a good switch. And as I say, we had 4 years in a row there of SEC teams. Unfortunately, this year, Ole Miss couldn't make it, Arkansas couldn't make it, and so in most years we'll be having those kind of teams. But I think it's a real tribute, and we really want the folks in Memphis, hopefully all your listeners out there, will roll out, as I say, the blue and gold carpet. I mean, these young men and women that serve the country. I'm in the locker room. We made the formal invitation. We said the Autos and Liberty Bowl was founded on the principles of freedom, liberty, and patriotism, and you young people, you live that every day. And in fact, I think they have 26 seniors who will immediately upon graduation go directly into various missions of service. In fact, Perry was telling he's set to go into the Marines right away. Others go into submarines and flight and that kind of thing. But so I think it's a really neat matchup to put the tradition, the history of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl together with these young men and women, plus all the mids that are coming back. And I think we talked about there's going to be more admiralty here in Memphis than maybe there have been in a long time. And of course, I just got word today the Secretary of the Navy will be coming, and then I think maybe the Secretary of Defense, who was an Army guy, but he told me that his wife went to, as he said, Memphis State University. Wow. And so I need to track down her. If your listeners know who married Esper, the Secretary of Defense now, let us know, because I didn't get a chance to.
She played golf for Memphis, right?
I think so. I think that's what he told me. He was telling me about how he enjoyed the barbecue, and this is he was just recently named Secretary of Defense, and of course he has oversight of all the service academies. But so I think it's a real opportunity. So I certainly ask all Memphians, and I know that's the one thing we have going here, and we talked about that up in Philadelphia, that we may not have the beach, we may not have as much sun as Florida would advertise, but we've got people who are going to be so hospitable and so kind to all our visitors, especially all these Navy folks. And they were telling us yesterday there were 4 Navy officers here in town yesterday doing the planning that the mids, of course they head home for Christmas and they're all over the country, so they got to kind of work their way back here on their own and figure out a way to get 4 to a room and figure out how to come to the game. So I know there'll be a lot of kindness here and a lot of hospitality in the Memphis area.
Last thing for the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. You had your All-Star game. You usually tell me there's a kid you saw that is going to become a good college football player. You don't know how everybody missed him. So put your coaching cap on and predict for me that guy from this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Football Classic.
Unfortunately, and you're right, we do have a pretty good track record of doing that with people like Anthony Miller and Tony Pollard and the young man that was a fullback for down there for Ole Miss there. Yeah. But quite frankly, because the Navy selection, I had to go up to Philadelphia, and for the first time since we founded the game, I missed the game. I felt bad because I love the game and love the competitive spirit of all the young people, and so I'll have to ask some of the other people that attended. But I guarantee there'll be a young man that emerged from that game that'll go on to be a great competitor. And we were talking to Anthony Miller the other day about how I still remember when Anthony didn't even have a walk-on offer here, and after I called the University of Memphis and they finally gave him a walk-on deal, and he earned a scholarship, and then he became an All-American. I saw this Sunday he caught 9 passes, including a touchdown,
131 yards,
and he was just a little guy from Christian Brothers that nobody wanted here when he played in our All-Star game.
And Pollard with 140 yards in that unbelievable touchdown for the Cowboys.
Oh, that's right. See, I missed that too. So yeah, if any of the viewers or viewers that watched the game or listened to it on the radio or were at MUS, let us know who you think that emerging star will be. But again, thank you to everybody who supported those young student athletes, and hopefully we can break that record of last year, 53 out of the 82 young men received scholarships to go on to college. And Dave, I know you were one of the original founders of the game. When we started, there were about 10 or 12 every year that would get scholarships. That's because they just didn't get the exposure that like an Anthony Miller. So, anybody that watched the game, let us know who you pick this year as the Layton star.
That is really great stuff. 53, and we're trying to break that record. Amazing. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. Thank you, Steve.
Well, we look forward that the teams are arriving basically on the 26th, so that's a week from Thursday. And we look forward to having folks to welcome the Kansas State Wildcats back to town, and then the midshipmen from U.S. Naval Academy. And join us for the game on December 31st out at the stadium.
Merry Christmas to you, Mary, the boys, and everybody. Thank you much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys.
That is Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Ball. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's time for Crunch Time. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Need Christmas gifts for friends, family, even yourself? Now's the time to buy at Family Leisure. Buy one item for someone special, you get the second for yourself at half off. Pool tables as low as $14.99. Hot tubs as low as $1,400. Arcades as low as $9.99. Massage chairs, you can get one as low as $6.99. There's so much to choose from now through Christmas Eve. Get your Christmas shopping done at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family fun and the holidays all come together.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Now seating, relax and recline luxury recliner seats. The magic of the movies is happening now at the Malco Powerhouse, Collierville, Stage, and DeSoto Cinema Grill locations. See you at the movies. Malco.com.
Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday from 10 to 1 at Classic Arms, 1740 Germantown Road behind Corky's. 'Tis the season at Classic Arms with all kinds of holiday specials. Pay no sales tax on all firearms. Buy, sell, trade, Classic Arms does it all. Plus, we'll be giving away Tigers basketball tickets and AutoZone Liberty Bowl tickets. We also have Garibaldi's Pizza, so we've got your lunch taken care of. That's this Friday at Classic Arms on Germantown Road behind Corky's. Come see us.
The best part of being the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
You think of yourself as the spokesperson for Central Barbecue?
Okay, as one of the spokespersons for Central Barbecue.
Shouldn't that be spokespeople?
Will you just let me get the commercial started?
Carry on.
As one of the spokespeople.
You might be right. Maybe it should be spokespersons.
Spokespersons for Central Barbecue. Oh, man, now I forgot what I was going to say.
That is one of the spokespersons for Central Barbecue.
Right, I remember. As one of the spokespersons for Central Barbecue, people expect me to serve them Central Barbecue for every holiday event.
That's what you were going to say?
I don't know. It was something about Central Barbecue. You got me confused.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion on this Tuesday, brought to you by Homer Stilton Hyundai, and Olive Branch, and Genesis of Olive Branch. Genesis, well, they're getting more cars. They're going to be having a big sort of blowout, I think, expansion. You're going to have so many different new products on the lot at Craft Road and Highway 78. In fact, I know there's going to be a Genesis SUV. Can't wait to see what that looks like. I got a G90 now. There's the G70, looks to me like a James Bond car. And the smoothest, fastest, safest ride that's on the road of any luxury cars that I know that are out there, and I've ridden in a whole bunch. This is a new special thing. It really is, and I'd love for you to go take a test drive. Go see Chris True and see what I'm talking about, and they've got shopper assurance. You can actually take a test drive of that car for a day if you would like to get to know the feel. I will tell you, once you've had that test drive, you're hooked. Just know, I'm warning you in advance. And then you'll be dealing with the best of people. It's the perfect marriage. You got this technology so good, it gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And then you got these guys with the shopper assurance that do so much for you. It's the way car business should be done. Go see for yourself. Head down Lamar into Mississippi and see the good folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. It's crunch time.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
Golly, I don't remember that one.
Take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Oh, no, not again.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He throw those ears forward, and he was in stroke mode.
This is stupid.
It's obviously crunch time.
Boop, boop, boop. That's what you're getting.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, I learned today that Penn State ranked in the top 25 in basketball for the first time since March of 1996. Before that, Penn State was last ranked in December of 1954. All that football success and not much in basketball, but you saw them. How good are they? I
saw them lose to your Rebels, and that was a heck of a game. They have a better team than Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss was better that night, but if I'm looking at it's a good team, and they're not a Final Four team, but they'll be a team that'll be one that Sweet 16 for sure. I think could be in their future. I learned today Major League owners voted for a major rule change, requiring pitchers, if they come into a game now, to face a minimum of 3 batters or finish a half an inning. Now that's unless there's illness or injury, then you can come out. And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea strategically how this will change the game because for every strategy now there will be another strategy that will come into play here. But the purpose of this is to shorten games. Is that really worth it? Take away this basic strategy to make the game a minute and a half shorter?
It won't no more than just holding up 4 instead of the intentional walk. Percolating big baseball story, though, is the rift Major League Baseball has with minor league baseball and continuing the working agreement. Even talk of scrapping the entire minor leagues as we know it in Major League Baseball, owning maybe a AAA team and maybe a AA team, but they want to get it down to about the best 60 minor league markets, and that's it. Memphis would be fine in that, but would Memphis be AAA or AA? Would Cardinals go to Springfield? Could have done without the Bucks' 18-game winning streak being stopped on a night that Giannis goes off for 48 against Dallas, and Dallas was without Luka Doncic. Dallas 10-2 on the road this year, but only 8-6 at home. Second best win streak for Milwaukee, that 18 games was since 20 straight for Kareem in 1970 and 71, and they won it all that year.
What I could have done with that is also an NBA story, and I hope it doesn't turn out sad, but it's sad at the moment. Former Commissioner David Stern remains in serious condition in New York City in a hospital after surgery for a sudden brain hemorrhage. He was at a restaurant, and they had to quickly get him to the hospital. They did surgery last Thursday, and it's not critical, but he remains in serious condition. No,
77. He was a real advocate and a fighter for Memphis and believes in small markets. I'm keeping a close eye tonight on the 24-3 Lakers in Indianapolis against Indiana.
Yeah, that's a great game.
The Pacers 20-8 Clippers late at home tonight against Phoenix, and the return of DeAndre Ayton tonight. pretty good ACC game tonight with Miami playing Temple in Barclays, and that second game will be Providence and Florida at Barclays. Barclays becoming a destination spot for good games.
Actually, I think the Florida-Providence game is first.
Oh, it's the other way around? Okay.
That's at 6, and the Temple game with Miami will be at 8:30. Here's what I don't understand. That Basketball Hall of Fame series, because Memphis played in before, it used to be in Springfield, Mass.
That's where the Hall of Fame is.
How in the world did it get to Barclays?
Barclays.
This is like the third or fourth different college tournament at the Barclays.
They may be getting better games now than the Garden.
Well, they have stolen games away from the Garden. You know why? The Garden is all union. So if ESPN goes to do a game in the Garden, they can't use their own technical people. They have to use the Gardens.
And Barclays isn't.
And it's much more expensive, and the Barclays is not. They let ESPN bring their people, and ESPN, and that's why they're moving it over.
Silly me. I thought the Basketball Hall of Fame was in Springfield.
That's what it is. That's
not where the games are.
We played there.
Yeah.
Remember when my adventure on Dick Vitale's airplane to Tampa after that game?
I remember it well.
Memphis played Maryland in that game. It was in Springfield, right next door to the Hall of Fame.
What are you watching tonight?
I'm watching those things, and I'm Suns Clippers too. I'm interested in that game because Phoenix is a whole lot better. And then for our good friend on the other side, that would be the Predators are playing the Islanders at 6. Also at 6, your Maple Leafs, Brett, are playing the Sabres. Come on, you better get into this hockey thing.
Leafs or Leaves?
Maple Leafs.
My Leafs, my Leafs. I am. Tell me when the playoffs
You're
start.
leafing, aren't you? I'm not going to see you till after Christmas.
I will see you December 30th.
I know you're going to take a few days off.
Take care.
You
we'll
actually
visit.
That's next time we see each other, but we'll talk with each other
a bunch
on the 26th. That'll do it for us. Have a great night, everybody.
I just left those Ford and Toyota dealers. You ought to see their selection of new cars and trucks. And you should see their prices. Santa trades a Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Top trade-in for old sleds, immediate financing, a true bargain lot with cars and trucks under $99.95.